Welcome to Impact Masters Podcast in collaboration with Africa's Talking Retold Podcast, where every conversation sparks new insights. Join us as we delve into the stories of extraordinary individuals who are shaping our world, movers and shakers in tech, policymakers, entrepreneurs, entertainers, and all those whose stories are worth telling. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and transformed. Welcome, and let's embark on this journey of discovery together. Impact Masters Podcast. You can check us out on all social media platforms: YouTube, X, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it. You can also find us across all podcast channels: Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Simply search for Impact Masters. Then subscribe, follow, and share. www.impactmasters.io. Here's your host, Michael Kimathi.
Thank you so much. It's another beautiful day of the Lord. I want to welcome you again to this amazing podcast with an amazing guest in another beautiful day that was made by the Lord. And without further ado, this is Impact Masters Podcast in collaboration with the Retold Podcasts, brought to you by Africa's Talking in collaboration with Impact Masters, showcasing Impact Masters and the stories that are worth being retold. And today we have an amazing guest. But before that, Africa's Talking, you can find Africa's Talking products at africastalking.com. We provide and enable and empower developers to build scalable businesses using SMS API, Voice API, USSD API. And now we have WhatsApp and the Chat API and insights to prevent fraud in other unauthorized business, which powers fintech and banks. So check out www.africastalking.com. Today, I'm your host, Michael Kimathi, one and only. You can call me MK anytime. Just building ecosystem and also ensuring that you're telling African and tech authentic stories across the world. And today we have one amazing guest by the name of Kevin Karuga, or Karuga as we call him. And this is not just another ordinary guest. Is a guest that his story is worth telling, which actually becomes quite interesting to see how tech evolves. How we have come a long way, especially when you talk about policy, you talk about governance, you talk about the law of the land, you talk about scaling businesses across Africa. This one chief we want to talk to give his experiences. He has worked with the banking ecosystem. He has worked with the now tech, and he has a wealth of experience from ensuring that the compliance. He has contributed immensely when it comes to legal matters and in relation to tech, and even now with the data privacy. And we'll talk about all this. But before that, as we normally make our practice, we cannot tell an African's man's story without knowing who he is. And without further ado, how are you, Karuga?
Aha, very well.
Yes.
I can hear myself.
You can hear yourself?
Yes.
Welcome, man.
Thank you.
Yes.
Very happy to be here.
Yes.
It's been a long time coming.
Yes.
And it's good to be on this hot seat.
It's not that hot, by the way. Because anyway, at the end of the day, it's such stories like yours actually that will bring more, maybe 50, 60 Karugas who will support businesses at scale like Africa's Talking, with the intention of building, businesses that actually matter in terms of empowering different people, the unlikely characters that you don't meet every day.
Yeah.
Because when you think about Africa's Talking is more like the person who is not unbanked, the person who doesn't have 3G, the person who cannot access internet, but they still need these services. Maybe health, maybe they're into agriculture, maybe fintech. How do we ensure they really get these services without breaking a bank, but also again, without breaking any law, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when and we'll get there. But I'm sure anytime someone is asked when they're growing up, what do you want to be? They say either doctor, engineer, or lawyer. Right?
Yes.
But sometimes we don't know what you're saying. It's just because these terms have been thrown around to be the like definition of success.
Yeah.
But they have never had a story of a lawyer and how it goes about. But we are lucky, I think, amongst many podcasts that exist out there, but even more in tech, to be able to have this conversation. So where were you born, Karuga?
Very interesting.
Yes.
I was born here in Nairobi.
Yes.
Pumwani Maternity.
Aha.
Those days I was born in 1990. And that was a time when Kenya was just moving into multi-party politics.
Yes.
I was born on a Friday. So Fridays are good.
Yes, I was also born on a Friday.
At the beginning of the year, actually.
Yes,
I was born on a Friday. First week of the year, in January. So it's Nairobi. I was born in Nairobi. As a small boy, of course, now.
Very nice. Of course, I cannot ask you how was it, because no one knows where they were born, how it was.
There, yes.
But were you schooled in Eastlands? I understand also, people when they hear Pumwani, the first thing that comes in their mind is Eastlands. But Eastlands actually, especially Buruburu, it was a bit structured. It was actually affluent. There was the side that was affluent, and for the the who is who, there was a side that was struggling, even in Eastland.
Yeah.
But nowadays, with the development and with the new structures and new progress, Eastland is not considered as progressive as back in the day.
Yeah.
So for you, did you grow up there, or you guys moved, or?
So I was born, as I said, in Pumwani. Pumwani Maternity was the hospital then. But when I was born, we lived in Kangemi. So when I was a small boy, basically Kangemi. But then my formative years, I was brought up in Kirinyaga.
Yes.
So mostly with my mother and my grandmother.
Yeah.
My earliest memories are maybe around 92.
Okay.
So basically,
2 years old.
Yes, my setting was in Kirinyaga.
Okay.
Because what happened is when my mother gave birth to me, she had to go back to school.
Okay.
And so I was left with my grandmother, who took care of me for most of my formative years.
Okay.
That was 1990, so around up to 1994.
Okay.
So I remember joining nursery school.
Yes.
At Mutira Primary School.
In
Kirinyaga.
Yes.
In 1994.
Yes.
I remember going to school with my elder cousins who are older than me.
Yes.
Michael and Christine. So Michael was older than us.
Yes.
And because we used to go early in the morning, it was very tedious for my grandmother. I remember, so my grandmother used to prepare me to go to nursery school, and she fondly says that one of my feet was smaller than the other one, such that there was one shoe that never fit. So as she always tried to put on, to help me put on my shoe in the morning, but it never fit a lot of times. So, ensuring that it fits. And to ensure that she did not struggle too much in the morning, my auntie, now the mother to Michael and Kristen, told her, why don't you just prepare him, and then they can be going together with these others. So those are my earliest memories. In 94. That was, but I was in Mutira Primary School very briefly.
Yes.
Because now in 1994, maybe I was there maybe for a term. I joined my mother in Nairobi, and we were living at Kahawa Wendani at the time, and I was enrolled to a school called Torrens Academy. So again, that's where I did my pre-unit school. And it was those days was pre-unit, and I think I may have joined Standard 1. So between 1994 to 1995, I was at Torrens Academy.
Yeah.
But then I was transferred to Kenyatta University Primary School. In 1996.
Okay.
Where I joined Standard 1.
Yeah. Kenyatta Primary School.
Kenyatta University Primary School.
Yes.
And at the same time, so we were still living at Kahawa Wendani.
Yeah.
If you know where Kahawa Wendani is, at that time, of course, there was no super highway.
Yes.
So we used to go to school. I mean, we were a group of boys and girls.
Yes.
So we used to go. We had to cross the road.
Yeah.
From this other side of Kahawa, you know where they are now building. I've seen the
overpass.
There are houses that are being put just opposite Kahawa. Just opposite Kenyatta University.
Okay.
There's a new construction that has come up there. There used to be a big field.
Yeah.
A big land. So we used to cut through that land.
Yes.
And we had to cross the road. To get into KU Primary, to get into Kenyatta University itself.
Yes.
And it was very risky because a lot of kids used to get accidents along that road.
Knocked by cars or?
Yes, knocked by cars.
Okay.
And because of that, my mother had to move into Kenyatta University. And it was very difficult to get a place to live inside Kenyatta University because people who lived in Kenyatta University were only staff.
That's what I'm curious about. Like, what connection is this?
So my mother was not a staff.
Yeah.
But somehow I can't quite remember what happened.
Yeah.
But she was able to get accommodation. We were able to get a house.
Yes.
Where now, just next to the school.
Yeah.
In Kenyatta University, there's just next to Kenyatta University Primary School.
Yeah.
There's a place called Soweto.
Is it the one that now is KM or?
No, not KM. KM is far.
The other side.
The other side.
Behind the university.
Yes, but now this is, you get into the university. The proximity of exactly where KU Primary is. In fact, when you're on the super highway, you are able to see Kenyatta University Primary School as you pass the super highway.
Yeah.
So right behind Kenyatta University Primary School, that is where we used to have Soweto. And Soweto used to house a lot of, I would say, not very senior staff.
The support staff.
Most of our subordinate staff were the ones who were housed there. So, and then just neighboring is the barracks. Is the
Kahawa Wendani barracks.
The Kahawa barracks. So where we lived, we shared a fence on this side.
The military.
With the military.
Yes.
And then on this side, of course, there was a school. And then now we were basically in the confines of Kenyatta University.
Yes.
And now these are the years when I actually remember a lot. Because these are the years when I start being cognizant of what's around me. Politics. And I think that's the time I started hearing of President Moi properly. And President Moi used to pass Kenyatta University, we used to go and line up.
Yeah.
When he is passing
by the road,
and we would clap for him. Karibu. Singing. Mtukufu Rais. And I remember one time when President Moi was passing and we were told Muzee anapita. So we had to run. So we had to wait on the sides of the road.
Yes.
And this time he came and stopped right outside the gate of Kenyatta University. And I was right at the forefront and I kept pushing my way until I got to his limousine. And now as he is speaking, I could practically see the president. And it was a very it was a surreal moment. I wanted to be him. Because this is a towering figure.
And this time you're in class 1.
That time I was in class 1. That could be 1997.
Yeah.
Thereabout.
Yeah.
And to take you back, I told you I'm also a village boy. So during the school holidays, I would go to Kirinyaga for a week or two. and then I would come back to Nairobi. So I used to shuttle between, between the two places. And in 1997, as I said, this is when I started being...
Because that's when actually the election, the first proper multi-party election was held.
Yes. I think the first multi-party election was in 1992.
Yes.
But then 1997 now was very fired up. And I remember there was a teacher's strike in 1997 when I was in class 1. And we were out of school for a while. Remember those days, there was a very fiery nut Secretary General. Yes. I forget his name.
Yes.
So I used to go to Kirinyaga, and the elections used to be held in December. So in 1997, December, I remember Mwai Kibaki. Because in the village where I come from in Kirinyaga, it was DP. Those days, the slogan of DP was ukweli na umoja na haki, or something like that.
Yes.
And I could sense some political activity that was going on.
Yes.
Posters being put up everywhere.
Yeah.
And people saying Moi must go.
Yes.
And as children now, 7-year-olds, we were also now running in the same and saying Moi must go.
Yeah.
We want Kibaki during those days.
Yes.
And that was also the first time when I also heard of Mother Karua. Because Mother Karua, I think, had run in 92 and won the Geshogo elections.
As an MP.
Yeah. And then 97 as well. Subsequently, she also got another term. And I remember people talking about Mother. As a small boy, when my uncle came with the newspaper and they were talking in the living room, I could hear them saying, hey, we wait for our mother. Meaning, have you heard of Mother Karua? So Mother Karua was known to be a very tough woman.
Yes.
And now, as a result, I could hear she's a lawyer and she's very fiery
and for a woman, that's unheard of for,
in fact,
for the longest time.
Yes, in Kirinyaga, and we had not had a woman, a member of parliament before. So I think Mother Karua basically broke the glass ceiling. Of course, now we have had
even governor.
Women. We have
MPs.
more women who are getting much involved. In politics. But then I just wanted to mention how my earliest memories.
Growing up in politics,
and how I just also landed on the political environment. But then I also must say that whenever I went to Kirinyaga, my grandmother gave me land. At that age of...
like this is your land or just
gave
farming?
Me shamba. Told me, I want you to be farming on this land. So I used to plant maize and beans. And then, because I had seen her when because we have this big land, she used to plant maize and beans.
Yes.
And then there used to be a period where we used to say, Kokobora and Bembe, is when the maize is
harvesting,
people are coming and they are buying off.
The green ones.
The green ones in lorries. I could see my grandmother counting money. And I told my grandmother, I also want to count money like that. So my grandmother told me, okay, what I will do, I will give you a piece of land. Farm on that piece of land.
Yes.
And then you're also going to kobora your mahindi.
Yes. And count your money.
And that's what happened. In fact.
How many acres did she give you?
It was just a small piece.
Like 10 by 10s?
I can't remember quite, but it was not a very big.
Okay.
It was just a small place because I'm the one who used to go and lima. And it's a very interesting story because I mentioned earlier my cousins, Michael and
the
Christine.
older ones,
Their father, may the Lord rest his soul, every time I was farming on the land, and they would call me to their house to go and have tea. Because I used to go and early in the morning. That was a very young boy. Yeah, that was.
And that's during the holidays.
During the holidays.
Yes.
And I would go and dig because I used to see how people are digging in the farm, and they would call me. Come and drink tea. And I would say, no, I have not yet finished.
I have my targets.
Yes. And now, in hindsight, now my aunties and my mother and my grandmother now tell me, your uncle used to say, this fellow is going to help himself. I'm trying to translate.
You are a bit industrious for a young guy.
Yes, you say, to say, this guy is going to help himself. And now, my grandmother also tells me, because now in the village, having also grown in the village a lot, I have roots and had friends. So I used to call friends, other small boys and girls.
I know, yeah, where they could take you for work, and then next weekend you can also do. Take them for
so they come
community work
and help me in my farm. And there was this one time, we are still very good friends with my friend Robert.
Okay.
Now Robert is a teacher somewhere in Kutus. And they used to come, and one time one of the pangas got lost. And I had to sit all of them down and I whipped them. And I said, can you produce the panga?
You cannot steal from me.
You cannot. Where is the panga? So that is how serious I was
with the farming.
With farming and ensuring that things that things that have been given, I know that.
Yeah.
And when I look back, I see a lot of me, what I have
become. Forming.
Yeah. If I now actually think
those are the
about
foundations.
Those were real foundations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at what point did you? Of course, the politics side I've had, but at this point, were you saying, okay, now for you to be a politician and mother is a lawyer, maybe this is the route I want to take?
In fact, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
I have one of my uncles who was a senior government officer at PS level at that time. So, and during days, Jamhuri days, we used to go to his house.
Public holidays.
Public holidays here in Lavington.
Yeah.
They used to invite us for Mbuzi. And him being a very senior government officer, I admired him very much so. And I think I had started feeling like I would want to be like him. And in this is 97, in 98, I was transferred from Kenyatta University Primary to Kirinyaga to a boarding school called Kirogwea Municipality Boarding Primary School.
Yes.
And meanwhile, because now we had started interactions with my uncle, I used to write letters to my uncle at the age of 8. And now when I look back, I used to tell him that I wanted to be an engineer.
Okay.
I did not know what an engineer was, but I had heard.
But it sounded really good.
It sounded really nice. But I had heard him is a quantity surveyor. But I had also heard people talking very well of engineers.
The guys who build the roads.
I didn't know exactly what engineers do. And in my letters to him, I used to write to him and tell him, I want to become an engineer. That was the earliest memory. But then as I continued now in Kirogwea Municipality Primary, I realized that I actually admired people in leadership. And now I started to remember that I had started reading newspapers at this age of 9, 10. And in newspapers, and I used to listen to the radio. And a lot of times you'd hear lawyers who are parliamentarians.
And making laws, policies,
making noise there, and they
jokes.
They are firebrands. And I particularly remember James Orengo. PLO Lumumba, who actually later became my professor. I remember President Bill Clinton at the time, Margaret Thatcher, because when I was born, Margaret Thatcher was
the Prime Minister.
Yeah. I used to hear, because they used to have a radio, and I used to hear one or two things. That is how I decided that I was going to become a lawyer. The reason why I decided I was going to become a lawyer is because I wanted to do what these guys are doing.
Yes.
These guys who are very vocal.
Yes.
I want to be like them.
Yes.
They are making laws and they are basically coming to help people, in society. And I remember one of our MPs at that time, I think it's called Kibicho, has also been a lawyer. So I thought maybe for you to be a parliamentarian, you have to be a lawyer. So that is how I took that trajectory. I took that trajectory.
Interesting. So by this time now, you want to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Did you research what it takes to be a lawyer?
Honestly, not. In fact, I don't know that I'll be jumping the gun, but I was more certain when I went to high school.
Yeah.
I was more certain that I was either going to be three things. I was either going to be a lawyer. I was either going to be a lawyer, a DC, the provincial.
Yeah, because that was serious position.
Provincial administration or a teacher.
Yeah.
And I remember all these were informed by my desire to change society. Because I am very passionate about changing people's lives. And during that time, provincial administration was extremely powerful.
Yes, it's like a governor now, if you think about it.
In fact, it was more powerful than a governor. Because if you remember, we had 8 provinces.
Yes.
And for example, a province like Central Province has several counties now.
Yeah.
And it was only under one PC.
Yes.
So the PC was very powerful.
Yes.
In fact, I remember recently, maybe about just when I joined AT, I booked an appointment to go and see David Musila. David Musila used to be the provincial commissioner of Central Province at one time. He had just written a very nice book called Seasons of Hope. So I had read it. I had really identified with what he wrote. And I went to see him just to tell him, actually, I wanted to be you. I wanted to be a provincial commissioner.
Just that?
Yes, I wanted to be a provincial commissioner.
Yes.
I wanted to be in the provincial administration. But then this mostly came up when I was in high school. That's when I actually crystallized and knew I would either do either of this. And I ended up being a lawyer, but as we'll discuss later, I also undertook public policy and administration. Because I also wanted to see, am I able to get into that line of administration?
Yes. Anyway, let's not jump the gap.
Yeah.
So you do your primary school mostly in the Kirinyaga municipality?
Yes, I Kirugwa municipality.
Kirugwa, yes.
Yes. So that was from 1998. And I think that is where I was shaped.
Yes.
Kirugwa municipality was an amazing
experience.
And in fact, it was the best boarding school in Kirinyaga County.
Yes.
At the time.
Yes.
And the reason why I was taken to Kirugwa municipality, number one, my grandmother said I was already becoming bigger than my age. And
that is very interesting.
Yes, and I was already now fighting in school. So my parents
back in Kenyatta Primary.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was being called, parents were being called that, I am fighting. And so my grandmother, she's a very wise woman. In fact, if my grandmother went to school, one of my aunties says she would be a Wangari Maathai. Because my grandmother is brilliant. She said, this young man, if he continues his education in Nairobi, he's either going to refuse school, get into bad company, or he's going to be expelled because he's already starting to fight.
And get wasted.
Or he's going to get wasted. So I went to Kirugwa municipality because it was known for discipline. In fact, the school motto of Kirugwa municipality was good conduct and passing exams.
It was that serious?
That serious. That is where I was shaped. And
but in this maybe first, second year there, were you always part of the people who get punished, or?
I was in problems.
Always?
I was in
problems.
Until
you are...
The manager and the proprietor, may the Lord rest his soul in peace, Mr. Munene, we used to call him Mane. So he's the manager, of course, now short form. We used to call him Mane.
Okay.
That gentleman, surprisingly, he used to be my mother's teacher in high school. Okay? So he started his own shop. So he started his own school.
Yes.
And it ended up being one of the best one of the best schools. It still is a very good school currently.
Yeah.
And he was known, he was an education enthusiast and a strict disciplinarian. So he used to ensure that all of us are disciplined. We used to walk in straight lines. Whenever you're going to the washroom from class, you walk with your hands behind in a straight line. Whenever you're going to eat your githeri in the dining hall, you walk in a straight line. You could not start seeing papers all over. He was that kind of, that's why I say this is where
perfectionists.
This is where I was basically shaped because number one, at the age of 8, I was spending days and nights out away from home because now it's a boarding school. I am sleeping in the dormitory.
Where you have to prepare your bed.
Yes.
Make sure you are clean. Yes. Your clothes, you wash them.
Completely.
Yes.
Luckily, at the age of 8, 9, just as you go to 10, we used to have aunties. We used to call them aunties who used to wash our clothes.
Oh, because you are a bit young.
Yeah. We were a bit young. But then when we got to age 10, at standard 4, we had to start washing our own clothes. And so it instilled a sense of discipline and responsibility. And this school was very high on academics and discipline. Umesikia, you've had the school motto itself.
Yes.
Good conduct and passing exams.
Yes. Until today, that's the motto.
I think the motto has now changed.
Okay.
Because now I think the school has gone through a rebrand.
Okay.
In fact, even I see even the school uniform is now different. But then those days, even now, the people who came to that school, being a boarding school, not only people from Kirinyaga.
Yeah, it's all over.
It was very cosmopolitan. So people from Nairobi. In fact, I remember we had colleagues from Tanzania.
Oh,
I remember, and that's actually the first time I ever dealt with an international student. Now, interesting that now at Africa is Talking,
you're doing international business.
We are doing international business.
Yes.
But my first experience with international business was my classmates, Mburule Jeremiah and Boniface Ngogo, Benjamin Ngogo. They were from Tanzania.
Yes.
And generally the school was mixed school. But then now people from all parts of the country
and backgrounds
different backgrounds. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So were you performing well with this in discipline and heavy-headed and getting in trouble, and now you get here, the discipline is good and you have to pass your exam?
Yes. Something happened. Let me just take you back a little bit so that I answer your question.
Yes.
At Kenyatta University, and I always remember this teacher, Mrs. Kio and Mrs. Muiruri. We were very many students in one class. And I can't remember how I used to perform at Kenyatta University. But I don't ever remember being at the top. But something happened. When I moved to Kenyatta University, I was asked to repeat class 2. Because remember, I was in Kenyatta University in 97. I was in 96. I was in class 1. 97. I was actually in class 2. But then when I moved and I came and did my interview,
you remain in class 2.
They said you're going to remain in class 2. I topped my class. When I joined class 2 in Koroga Municipality, I don't know how, but I topped my class. I was the best. In 98, I was the best in 99, I was the best in 2000. I was basically top of my class.
Always.
In fact, I still look at my transcripts now, and I wonder, now I'll be, when I'm talking to my children, I'll be telling you, you see, I was actually number 1. Not the proverbial one for parents, but I was actually on top of the class.
Yes.
And as I was beaten a lot. You remember now, those days, it was not like now. We used to be disciplined properly. So my discipline became a very high standard. Because out of this being guided and also being punished, I started becoming a good boy, very good boy.
Disciplined.
Very disciplined, clean boy, very responsible. At class 4, I became class prefect. And from there, we never looked back. I was class prefect until
so you are on leadership from class 4.
So I started leadership from class 4 until university. So I was the school captain in charge of dining hall in primary. I was the school captain in charge of environment in high school. And I was a student union president at the university. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
So you go to high school. And you're a teenager then, a lot of things are happening. You're best student. I don't know, which high school did you go to?
I went to Kianyaga High School. Kianyaga
Still
Boys
in Kirinyaga?
High School in Kirinyaga.
Yeah.
That's where the Deputy President attended school as well. Deputy President Gachagua. He's an old boy.
The current Gachagua.
The current Deputy President is an old boy of Kianyaga High School.
Yes.
And Kianyaga High School, those days used to be the mighty Kianyaga High School.
They could only compete with Kagumo.
Oh, that was the league. In fact, the likes of, you've heard of Senator, the former Senator Karaba was principal at Kianyaga High School, and I think went to Kagumo High School.
Yes.
But it was in that league. And let me tell you, Kianyaga Boys used to be known. If you heard that you went to Kianyaga Boys,
you're a serious person.
you are a very serious fellow.
You're gonna make it in life.
You are going to make it in life. In fact, I remember when we did I was disappointed because in fact, at the time, I wanted to go to Nairobi High School. So when we did our KCPE, at that time we had, it was out of 500 and I scored well because I scored 405. I was not the best. The best in our stream in a year that time was my good friend Eric Kenywa, currently in Australia. He scored possible 420 out of 500.
Yes.
And now that I've mentioned Eric Kenywa, we were the very naughty boys.
Both of you.
When we joined, because we joined the same year in class 2. So we joined together.
But with a very bad discipline. You're all over. Yes. You don't want to hear anyone's advice.
But then you see now, I watched someone like Kenywa. Kenywa become a champion in terms of his academics.
Yes.
I'm still audible.
Yeah, you're good.
Very good.
Yes.
So Eric was number 1, 420. And I think I was among the top 10. I scored 405. And I even went to Nairobi School before admission. And I went and and I applied and said, I want to come here. And I even went to see the principal then. And I said, I even have the letter that I wrote, I want to come here.
Why Nairobi School though?
I don't know why, because I think I had heard good things of Nairobi School.
Not Alliance, no Starehe.
I didn't want, because I think at the time I had gotten to class 8. I was no longer the top student. So I knew the likes
Alliance is out, Starehe is out.
Yes. The likes of my colleagues Eric Kenywa and my friend Simon Omuremi, they were the top students.
Okay.
So I knew, in fact, Eric ended up in Mangu. And a few others now went to Starehe, some went to Alliance.
Yes.
So now I was in my area. Now those people who got the 400s, we went to the provincial school now, Kianyaga High School. So that's how I landed in Kianyaga High School. But I think my experience at Kianyaga is not comparable to
Nairobi School.
Not to primary, my primary experience.
Okay.
Kianyaga was, by the time I joined, Kianyaga was a very laid back school. First of all, I'm not sure I really liked
the experience there.
The experience.
Yeah.
We were monolized. I remember when we joined, monolization
was
or bullying was a serious thing. In fact, when you just walked into the gate with your parent, the Form 4s and Form 3s are looking at you with their eyes wide open. And they're doing like this.
You're welcome here.
You're welcome here. And you were very scared. Because I remember the day I joined Kianyaga High School.
Yes.
I was taken there. And after my parents left, I was left at the mercies of the older boys. And everything that I owned, the shopping I was told I carried, everything vanished,
including new school uniform.
With time, new school uniform vanished, and we used to sleep on trees sometimes because we could not go to the dormitory. Because now the older boys were very rough, were very bad. You could not be seen at that time going to bed before the Form 3s and Form 4s
are asleep.
So you used to go tiptoeing.
You If you wake up the big boys,
you're
in trouble.
You're in trouble. And it was really bad because I remember one of our colleagues who used to be in Form 2 when we were in Form 1. I remember, I think his name was Ginone. Ginone was hit with a hockey stick. In fact, one of the requirements when you are opening
you
school,
go with the hockey stick.
you go with a hockey stick.
Yeah.
Ginone was hit by a hockey stick and his eye was almost popping out. So it was a very bad culture. I hear now people are no longer molesting people or bullying people. But that was the experience. So that experience at Form 1, first of all, made me really not like the environment. And then I also realized that the boys there were not serious. You know, people are not serious on academics. People are very lackluster, you know. And I love excellence.
Yes. Even from the discipline, consistent discipline from,
I'm coming from Kirwa municipality where there is order, there is proper discipline. I'm coming to Kianjaga.
Focus.
And I feel the older boys don't shower. They are stinking. So, you know, and I think that was a common thing with the boys' schools where I think people are... people don't really even go. People don't go to shower.
Yes.
People shower once a week or whatever, or when you're going home.
Yes.
So I was very fearful, but then I became class prefect. I was appointed class prefect. I was elected actually at Form 1, Form 1X.
Yes.
Remember one of my good friends, Peterson Waweru, proposed that I be elected president, not president, be elected class prefect. And I became class prefect.
You were on the same class with this Waweru?
Yes, and we came with him from primary.
Okay.
So we were a good chunk of us.
Okay.
So in fact, Peterson Waweru was my best friend from when we were in primary school. So he proposed,
this chief can lead us.
This chief can lead us.
Yes.
And you see, naturally, I think I was a very strict person. So when I became class prefect, now it was very tough because I love discipline and I love order. So my colleagues, of course, did not like me. Because now as a class
started
prefect,
developing enemies.
Yes, of course now, and I was very tough. Because you're not going to go and make noise in class when others are reading. You're not going to fail to wash the class. And I told you to wash to wash the class. It's your duty. So they always know, they always knew that when you're dealing with Kevin, you have to do it right.
Yes.
You will hate him,
but it has to be done.
It has to be done.
Yes.
Yeah. So I remember our class teacher at that time, Mrs. Muriuki, was also very, a very good lady.
Yeah.
I used to go and tell her, because now people are already hating. They don't like
resign.
I even wrote a resignation letter.
Yeah, let me focus on my studies. This is too much for me.
May I just focus on my studies? This was too much. Because I think as a young man, as a young boy, I felt now these other guys are hating me because I'm a prefect. And those days, if you remember, sometimes there used to be strikes. If you remember the Changuli or something where
people banned each other.
Used to ban each other. So I used to wonder, if I'm a prefect
and people ban each other, I'm going to prison.
Are they going to ban me?
There is that. Yeah.
Or are they going to attack me?
What? Yeah. So already you are fearing for your life.
Yes. And now, of course, my classmates used to go and tell the bigger boys, this guy, Nimauzo.
He's a snitch.
He's a snitch. He's the class prefect. Now the other older boys used to look at me with their eyes wide open. So,
and I can assume there's a lot of illegal business going on in that school.
Oh yeah, always. In all these schools, there is always something happening.
Contraband selling and all that.
All those things.
Yeah.
But then I stood for Mrs. Murioki told me, no,
you have to stand your ground.
You're not resigning. You are the prefect that was chosen. You continue. But then, now that I've come from primary school, I have started, I was a bright student in primary. But when I joined Form 1, something happened. Something called physics. Something called biology. Something called chemistry. Oh my God.
There's no multiple choice.
There was something called, that's when I actually realized I'm not a science student. I'm more of the arts.
Linguistic.
Because physics, I remember Bunsen Banner was in physics, was in chemistry, I think.
Yeah, and also physics.
And also physics. Because now, first of all, we were told to label the Bunsen Banner. I could not remember the parts of the Bunsen Banner. I remember I performed dismally in in the science subjects. And I remember our chemistry teacher, Mr. Mwaneki. I will not say his nickname. Actually, let me say his nickname because we used to call him Beryllium.
Man, he's from Kirinyaga. What did you expect him to say?
Yes. And Beryllium was an element.
Was he from Kirinyaga?
Yes, he's from Kirinyaga.
You can't expect anything else.
An excellent chemistry teacher.
Yes.
And then, of course, now we used to call him Kamberi. Later on, Mr. Mwaneki used to come and when he's giving us our scripts, Sema Karuga, Kevin Karuga, alipata nunge. You know? So he used to...
And that really used to hurt you.
He used to hurt me. He used to hurt me. The mathematics teacher was excellent, Mr. Kara. But then he could see that I was really struggling with math.
Okay.
And I really struggled with the math and the sciences. But when it came to the humanities, I was the best.
Yes.
When it came to English...
Hands down,
I was the best. So I started getting a bit of a low self-esteem because now I am not able to perform very well because these subjects are pulling me down. Even if I get straight A's in English,
the mean score is not really good.
The mean score is not where I want it to be.
Yeah.
And then I am a prefect. And ideally, as a prefect,
you're supposed to be excellent.
You need to be excellent. In fact, one time Mrs. Muriuki, the class teacher, called me and told me now, you have to be a good example to the others. So you cannot be...
It was that serious?
Yes, you cannot be getting 0.8 in chemistry.
Yeah.
Please.
And anything starting with a 0 was considered 0.
Of course. Because is it the same head that is getting 100% in the history,
geography?
Yeah. And in fact, I was not good in geography. Because I think geography also has a bit of science.
Yes.
I was very good in English, Swahili, did I say history?
Yes.
There was a CRE, business studies.
Yes.
I was very good.
Yes.
But then now I have started feeling a certain type of way. And I feel like, am I now going to become a failure out of this? That's when I started researching in the library. What can I be
with this strength?
With my strength. And in the library, there were very good books. I went and there were career books. And I always used to go and look at the cluster that does not require any science. And in fact, I remember we were able to get... That's how I came up. I was either going to be a lawyer, I was either going to do public administration, or I was going to do education. Because those are the things that I was able to...
Yeah, they just require you to focus on humanities.
Yes. So, but otherwise, I was... In high school, I was in leadership all the way to Form 4.
So you never changed the high school?
I did not change high school.
Was there that option?
No, there was no option of changing. And I think also from my background, we did not have the luxury of being moved around. You go where you have been invited, you go there. That is where you're going to finish your school. So I went to Kirinyaga and studied in Kirinyaga and finished until
Form 4.
Until Form 4.
Yeah.
And at Form 4, I was a school captain in charge of environment. And it was a nice experience, especially being in leadership. I enjoyed the leadership thoroughly.
Do you think you changed the Kirinyaga?
I did.
Or contributed to the change they have now?
Oh, completely. Because even when I go, I still find the trees that we planted, the flowers we planted. There are these flowers that are fence-like. So
just trim them well, and
we
they will remain.
Trimmed them well, and during my tenure, the place was cleaned because I was not a joke. If you had a business to do, you had to clean. I remember now being among the senior captains, we lived in a place called State House. And now here, at AT, we also live in State House.
White House.
in White House.
Yeah.
We used to live in State House, and we used to live 3 captains.
Yes.
The senior school captain, the school captain in charge of dining hall, and the school captain in charge of environment. And we were given luxuries.
Were there like small cubes for you? Or?
Yes, it was a nice house for us with a washroom and an ablution block for us. And of course, now we had nice lockers. We used to eat preferential food.
Top layer.
We did not line up. If it was meat, we were eating more than the others. But then I think one thing I enjoyed, and I think I realized that from my days in primary school is that I'm very passionate about leadership. I'm passionate about ensuring that people get value for what they pay. Basically, people are able to move in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I cherished leadership a lot because as a leader in primary school, I was able to also come up with a lot of changes. In high school, I was also able to come up with a lot of changes and positivity. And that's when I realized in leadership, sometimes people don't appreciate you, but they will see the things that you've actually done. And I realized it's very lonely at the top.
So it's more of action than just, talk and having a good time.
Because I was the kind of leader or the prefect at that time who I did not know how to go behind the tent, do things another way. And at times, and I remember I even got a nickname. They used to call me Mutemi Bokono.
Because that's the set book you guys did.
We used the set book.
Kifo Kisimani.
And Mutemi Bokono was the leader of Butangi. And I remember this, one of my very good friends now is called Kuria.
Moses?
No, not Moses Kuria. It's called Kuria. I'm forgetting his other name.
Okay.
And we were classmates. I think that name came from him and another friend of mine called David. David Modi. They nicknamed me that because I was not moved. I was focused. Even when they called me, they did not call me names in my hearing. They used to tease other prefects as they hear. But nobody ever dared confront me and tease me or say this or that. Because they thought this guy is going to send me home. We actually send people home.
Oh,
yes.
You guys had those powers.
We had the power to tell the deputy president, this fellow
needs to be suspended.
Yes, in fact, I remember one person was suspended just by trying to say something those days. But I think leadership for me
is about the change.
It's about the change, and it really defined who I was, at that time.
Interesting. So you pass your KCSE.
Yes.
Where were you invited?
I was not invited anywhere.
You invited yourself. You find your way to where you wanted to be.
So what happened? I actually did not get those days. The university grade was B+
and above. B+ of 74.
Yes. So what I got, I passed, but I did not qualify to be called. Those days it was to be called the Joint Admission Board, JAB. I did not get admission to go to JAB. Now, what was I supposed to do? Looking at my family background,
and you want to be a lawyer?
I want to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
But looking at my family background, there was no way those guys were going to pay the monies that were required for parallel program. In fact, when you talk of parallel program, it was for the rich people.
Yeah. And actually, law school is a bit expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
So, those days we used to have a year, after
gap
you finish,
year,
a gap year. So when I finished...
Actually, it's almost 2 years.
It was actually 2
1
years.
year, 7 months, 8 months.
Thereabout. So when I finished primary, Kianyaga High School, I went and enrolled and became a teacher.
Untrained teacher in high school?
Untrained teacher. And this time it was
Same school or different school?
Different. So actually, I enrolled in one of the schools in Kirinyaga, a private boarding school. And that is where my life began as an untrained teacher. And they used to call me Mr. Karoga. The kids adored me. They loved me. And I remember that is where my life actually began. Because my first house was next to the school. It was a timber house. So it has a bit of concrete. Then it is timber. But it has mianyas. You can see. If you don't put a curtain and you're showering, your neighbor is going to see. So it was that, and there was no electricity. It was a tar.
The lantern.
And that is where I began my life. With the lantern. So when I came from home...
And a transparent life.
It was very transparent. So when I when I came from the village,
Yes.
I was given a lantern, a stove, a bed, and a reading table.
And you are told start the life.
Start the life. And the bed I got was the bed that was being used in the 70s at my grandmother's house.
By your parent or by the
children in the house those days.
Yeah.
Maybe my parents, my mother. But it was those. It was not the beds today where they have bolts and nuts. So in fact, it's a when you remove, there was no. How would I put it? I can't.
Was it those bolts were wooden or?
Very good.
Yeah. I know those bolts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those bolts were
wooden.
wooden.
My grandparent actually is a carpenter and used to make those, and they were really, really strong beds.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those beds had been used from the 70s, if not the 60s.
Yeah. And they were still intact.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my rent was 500 shillings. And my neighbors, you could hear the next neighbor. Whatever the neighbor was doing, you could hear. If someone had a visitor at night, you could hear. When you look at when you put on your lantern, when someone is outside, they can see through your cubicle. And because of the iron sheets, the place was so hot. Iron sheets and the timber. The house was extremely hot.
Especially during the day.
During the day, it was extreme. You could not. And now there were no windows.
Were they provided by the school or just a rental?
It was a rental, just outside the school. So I could
close by. Yeah.
I was required to be in class very early in the morning.
Okay.
So I could not.
And this is high school or primary?
Primary.
Okay.
It's a primary school. And the most devastating place, the most devastating thing about this place, I've said it does not have electricity, is that we did not even have proper bathrooms. Because I remember the actual bathrooms were the same. The bathroom and bathroom here, I mean, okay, let me use the toilet and where you shower.
They're separated by a wall.
They are but it was basically the same thing because now you find where you're going to put your karai. And it was a messy place.
Because no one takes responsibility of cleaning the place.
Nobody could clean the place.
Yeah.
So what we used to do, because now the toilet, it was a mess.
Yeah.
Because you come and find people who have done their business up there. And you want to shower in the morning.
Wait a minute. So the toilet and the bathroom were the same place. There was not even a wall or anything.
Yes, it was the
So
same
if
place.
someone is showering, someone cannot do their business.
You cannot do the business. And it is the pit latrine. So you have to put
the karai covers
the pit.
It was a pit latrine.
Yes, you cover the pit latrine. Now after you are done, so before you go, you have to wash the place. So you can imagine how that place looks. So what we started doing, there was one of the houses that was not occupied. In that land, because there were like 4 or 5 houses in that small plot.
Yeah, that sounds like a plot 10. I don't know if you have ever heard of plot 10 in Nairobi.
In fact, we used to call that place plot 10.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the houses at the very edge became our bathroom. But now what you used to do, that I think it was constructed badly because when the water, all of it used to come.
The drainage was bad.
The drainage was very bad. So when you go to shower, you have to go with the kifagio. So you have to wash the place.
Drain the place.
Drain the place first. Because there was someone else who had showered. And you can imagine now you're not going to go and
start swimming before you shower.
So that was the kind of mess.
Yeah.
That was the kind of mess we were in.
And this did not deter your determination to,
It did
I
not.
have a vision.
It did not. In fact, something I forgot to mention is that at the age of 17, when I was still in high school, I started writing a book.
Okay.
I've published 2 books.
Interesting.
So I published my first book at the age of 17.
Yes.
And my second book at the age of 21.
Yes.
So what happened, when I was still now a teacher, I was teaching English and science.
Yes.
And I remember the children I used to teach, I used to come up with songs to help them remember. And in fact, now that I talk about it, I remember fondly one song that I used to sing to them. Shem, Ham, Japheth, Shem, Ham, Japheth, sons of Noah, Amen means, amen means, let it be so. Because I used to teach CRE, science, and English. And the kids used to love it because we used to dance in the class so that they can remember
memorability,
the memory. But then I was so tired by the end of the day. It was so tiring.
Yes.
But I knew this was not where I wanted to be.
Yes. Absolutely. So when we come back shortly, we'll be able to delve into why didn't you lose the focus? And also you'll tell us about the books because I never knew about the books. Yes.
Welcome to Impact Masters, where Quick pause, folks. We're stepping into a brief interlude, but stay tuned because after the break, we dive deeper into the incredible journey of our guest. Meanwhile, we'd like to send a massive shout out to our sponsors for empowering this exchange of ideas and innovation. We'll be right back on Impact Masters. Subscribe, follow, and share. Check us out at www.impactmasters.io. See you after the break. Quick pause, folks. We're stepping into a brief interlude, but stay tuned because after the break, we dive deeper into the incredible journey of our guest. Meanwhile, we'd like to send a massive shout out to our sponsors for empowering this exchange of ideas and innovation. We'll be right back on Impact Masters. Subscribe, follow, and share. Check us out at www.impactmasters.io. See you after the break.
Thank you so much. Welcome back. This is Impact Masters Podcast in collaboration with Retold Podcast, hosted by Impact Masters and Africa's Talking, to ensure that we bring you movers and shakers, especially in tech and in Africa, doing amazing stuff to change the ecosystem or to influence what is happening in different sectors, just to ensure that we are building sustainable ecosystems and telling authentic stories of our African brothers and sisters. And today we have Karuga. Karuga.
Yes.
Man, your story is super, super amazing. I didn't know a lot of things that actually that you mentioned. And one interesting aspect is how you didn't lose the focus when it comes to, you want to be a lawyer. You want to be a lawyer because you want to be a leader.
Yeah.
And I can attest today, man, you are a leader.
Thank you.
Still show the leadership in different aspects. So, you said there's something actually that didn't that kept you going and just saying, this is what I want to be. As a primary teacher, I still want to be a lawyer.
Yes.
What was that?
So, number one, I wanted to change my life and I wanted to change the life of my parents. And I knew I wanted more. And I knew the determination was excellent. The determination that I required, I needed to ensure that I worked very hard.
Yes.
So I had published books, as I said, at the age of 17. And my first book is called Teenage Dreams. In fact, I wrote that book when I was still in Form 3. And when I wrote that book, because I used to write in full caps and then distribute it to the class to read.
For review.
And that used to go to classes, all the classes. And everybody used to come and tell me, chapter 2, chapter 3.
Oh, okay.
Where's chapter 4? That's when I realized.
It was that interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chapter 5, I kept on writing. And I realized, people are actually identifying with the story that I am actually giving. So it circulated and it started going even to other girls' schools outside.
Okay.
So
I'm tempted to ask, did this get you, your girlfriend, this reminds me of something very funny that we used to do in high school. I didn't have the best of handwriting, but I realized when I focus, I can write an handwriting that someone can pay for. The calligraphy.
Calligraphy, yes.
Yeah, so I used to do that for my Fox in high school at a fee. Because, I'll tell my story one day. I don't want to preempt. But that reminds me that particular moment how actually words, either written or verbal, can influence a lot of things, especially in leadership and when there's change.
Yeah.
But that was just a prelude
I wrote that book, and that book it's called Teenage Dreams.
Yes.
And Teenage Dreams is basically about this young man who found teenage love. And I was basically also prophesying my life through that book. I was writing what I wanted.
Intentionally or just, something flew?
So I was writing what I wanted to become.
Okay. Okay.
So I created a story around what I wanted to become. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be, out there as a leader.
Yeah.
So that's what I wrote.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, the motivation was very big because I wanted to also get money to go to the university. But my salary at that school
I can only imagine.
was 5,000 bob. Okay? But I did not last there long because Keruwe municipality, where I went to school, said, oh, you can come and become an untrained teacher with us. All right? But then now Keruwe municipality, as I told you, was an excellent place. So even the accommodation now was substantially different from what I just explained.
Yes.
They gave us nice houses, and the place was cleaned. The place was good. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It was. I moved, so I think it was maybe after 3 months. I moved from this school. I went back to my alma mater.
Yeah.
Where I was. I keep telling people that's where I was shaped.
Yeah.
I went back there to become a teacher, an untrained teacher. Excellent.
Yes.
And I started working alongside the teachers who taught me.
Yes. It was quite surreal.
Oh my God. I loved every bit of it.
Yes. Did you learn from them even now on the other side of discipline?
Yes.
And you're like, I understand why maybe people used to be caned.
I started to understand.
Yeah.
And you see the teachers at that time now, they're now treating you like an adult.
Yeah.
And you're able to have discussions with them.
Yeah.
So to a great extent, I was mentored.
Yeah.
By those teachers, some of them who are still there up to date.
Yeah.
In fact, Mr. Getora now, who used to be my class teacher in 1999, is a principal today currently
of the school. Yeah.
And those are people who actually really mentored me. And when I joined, he was now, after being my class teacher, he became now my colleague, and he was my deputy head teacher at that time when I was now a teacher. And it was an excellent time for me to basically learn. Now, the salary was still 5,000, but there was something different.
Yes.
They used to cut 500 for accommodation.
Okay.
And then they used to cut a quarter of your salary. We used to call it quarter. For the first 4 months. So they keep it. So that now when they keep that money, in case when you leave or you destroy something, they can cut from there or they can give you that amount.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how much I used to get at the end of the month after a quarter of 5,000 is removed, and then 500 is removed.
Yes.
And my mother had ensured that I got into a chama where we used to contribute 1,000 shillings.
Jesus Christ.
So
if you got 2 ngwizis, as they call them nowadays, or 2K, you are lucky.
Yes. So that was where basically life started.
Yeah.
But now I started actively applying for university, and I applied the places where I would study law was Kenyatta University, University of Nairobi, or Kwea. So I applied I went to Kenyatta University. I applied and I did not get any feedback. I went to University of Nairobi. I'm not sure I applied for University of Nairobi, but I applied for Kwea. And when I was still teaching, I received feedback from Kwea, and I was told that you have qualified and you are to report in January of 2010. I was over the moon.
Yeah.
I have been accepted.
This is it.
I have been accepted. Oh, I was so excited. I was so happy.
Yeah. And it's in your strength.
Yes. This is where I'm going.
So you are sure you're gonna kick.
But we had a problem. I have been called to study law at Kwea,
which is a private university.
It's a private university.
And the private school fee.
It's private school fee.
And private everything else.
Everything was private.
Including accommodation.
Yes.
Yes.
I went to my parents and I told them, hey, I have received invitation letter,
Yeah.
an admission letter.
Yeah. This is after how many years after high school?
That
2 years, almost 2 years.
This was I finished high school in 2008. So I was out in 2009.
Yeah.
So it was just 1 year actually.
Okay.
So 2009 and then now was 2010.
Yes.
Hey, I went and told my parents, hey, I have been invited to Catholic University. Do you know my parents did not speak?
Because now you have introduced a new problem.
I've introduced a new problem.
An expensive one though.
They looked at me. I knew deep down when I looked at them, they had the desire.
For you to go.
But the reason why that morning they did not speak, because I told them,
Yes.
I have actually been called
To do law.
to do law.
At the Catholic University.
And this is the I'm talking about and they just looked at me. And it was not out of arrogance. I remember they did not want to say anything. Now in hindsight, I know when they looked at the letter, we could not afford. It was not possible to, because the school fees at that time to study law, tuition fee was 133,000
Per year or per semester?
per semester, not inclusive of accommodation.
And food.
And the food.
And books and, you know.
And when I finished Kirugaya Municipality, Kenyaga High School, I had a balance of 20,000 shillings.
Which has not been settled.
which has not been settled.
Yeah.
Now, you are telling us
You need this after every 4 months.
you need 133 every 4 months.
Are you crazy or what, Karuga?
I think they may have wondered, is this guy...
And for those who don't know, Kirinyaga is not one of the most affluent.
Yes.
Most of the people, okay, things might have changed nowadays. But if you go 10 years, 5 years back, most of people there depend on farming.
Yes.
Even right now, maybe majority
Even
still
now,
depend on farming.
I was taken through school by the proceeds of coffee. My school fees was basically paid from coffee farming. And now the money I was talking about on when they come and get the maize. So coffee farming and coffee had been taken to the dogs for the longest time.
Still is. Yeah.
It still is.
Yeah.
And it was a pittance. So what happened is we used to get checks. So from the factory. So we are given checks to pay school fees. So there was a charity fund where you would
It's more like a loan.
yes. So you'd be able to pay school fees, but then now it is deducted when the payout comes. But then by the time I was finishing secondary school, I had a balance of 20,000.
Which means that money was not even enough.
Yes, it was not enough.
Yeah.
So in fact, one of my uncles, we call him Babaduta. God bless his soul because he's just an amazing human being. Helped us clear
The 20,000.
the 20,000 because you could not be given your certificates.
And you cannot go to the private university without the
Yes.
certificates.
So you cannot go to school. I mean, you cannot be given the leaving certificate and your transcripts
Yes.
without completing.
Yeah.
I think
the
now
balance.
they have really tried to remove that kind
it's
of
still the
challenge.
same, bro.
It's still the same.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So my uncle is one who actually paid
The balance.
20,000.
Yeah.
So my uncle and my auntie, Mama and Babaduta, they were able to help me pay
Yeah.
to clear that balance. But then now, saying 133,000 was a stretch. Who was going to pay?
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I told my parents,
Yeah.
you know what? I have been called to Kwea and I am going to Kwea. So what I did is I left Kirinyaga. I came to Nairobi.
All alone.
I came alone, yes. Because having grown up in Nairobi, I knew my way around properly. And my cousin Michael, I mentioned Michael. Michael used to live in Pipeline. So I went to his house. And I told Michael, Michael, you know what? I've come. I'm supposed to join university. I don't have any money.
Yeah.
You remember the books I told you I published?
Yes.
My uncle Babaduta owns a
Publishing,
publishing press. So they printed books for me, and I sold books. And in my pocket, I had 50,000 shillings
Out of the books.
out of the books. So basically, my uncle drew that.
Now this is the uncle who paid the 20,000,
Yes.
or it's the uncle in
that-
Lavington.
Not the uncle in Lavington.
Okay.
The uncle who owns a press. So they own a press with my aunt.
Okay.
So they basically printed the books for me.
Yeah.
And as I was being a teacher, I was selling. But towards the end of 2009, I quit my job as a teacher to concentrate on the sales.
Yes.
Because the books were selling like
moving
hotcakes.
fast. Yeah.
So I had 50,000 in my pocket, and I knew this was the money that I was going to use as down payment. But now my uncle had said, because we don't have money to take you to university, can we take you to a teacher training college?
Because now you are teaching.
Because now I was teaching, can you just go and become, there was a school called Kiamwenja. I think he had connections in Kiamwenja Teachers College, and he said, why not? You go to Kiamwenja, do your teaching, and now start becoming a teacher. And I completely disagreed with him and with my parents, and I said, no, I want to be a lawyer.
Yes.
And I am going to Catholic University.
Yes.
So I went to Michael's house in the Pipeline. Michael had a small studio. And
studio or single room?
Well, it's a bedsitter, basically.
Okay, that is a studio.
Yes, it's a studio because
the washroom is in there.
The washroom is in
like
there.
A small kitchen.
The small kitchen. And Michael is a very reserved. He's a reserved guy. Does not speak too much, but he's my big brother. He told me. At home I'm called Muremi. Muremi, usijali. Wewe, hii mambo yote itakuwa sawa. So now when I went to Michael's house, I told him, Michael, I am going to Catholic University. And true to the word, orientation in January, I went to Catholic University. So I came from Pipeline. I found my way to how I would go to Langata, blah, blah, blah.
Where the choir is.
Where is. So I went, because how it used to happen those days, I don't know how it happens the same way now. You used to be invited to come for orientation. You do because choir is not a boarding, quote unquote. You come and either you stay at home or get an apartment or hostel. Yeah. So I went to choir. So you used to be invited to come for orientation, to be told what to do, what not. Yeah. So I actually went for orientation. Yeah. And I went alone. It was just Karuga. I just went by myself. Yes. Nobody else was there. I went to the auditorium. Yeah. That place was posh.
It's choir, man. It's Catholic University of East Africa.
The fellows that were coming in, they were coming with their parents and they are driving big cars.
Yes. Well dressed.
I came with my shoes were full of dust. Because now, that time, choir, when I don't know that you know where choir is.
I know where choir is. I've been there.
So, choir, that road from...
it's a dusty road. I don't know if now they tarmacked it.
Used to be, not tarmacked.
Oh, okay.
Those days used to be tarmacked. It used to be dusty.
Yeah.
So, when I arrived...
You have to walk like a kilometer or so.
And it is January.
Yeah.
You remember January?
It is dry. And dusty.
And now, remember I told you I used to... I had quit my job as a teacher towards the last quarter of the year to concentrate on the sales. And these sales that I did of books, I used to go walking and on matatu, so I used to also walk long distances. And my shoes now had, you know, how the soles, it was looking up one side. It was unbalanced, you know, because one side of the heel had, in fact...
There's a term they use. The rubber meets the road.
It had met the road. That rubber had met the road. Now you see what happens when you have a shoe that the heel is so the upside goes up like this, and you know
it's trimmed one side.
It's trimmed one side.
So even the walking style actually changes a bit because now one side is a bit.
And the clothes I was wearing, and that's why I said my uncle, God bless him, from head to toe, I had been given those clothes by my uncle. Because he used to give us clothes. You know? He used to give us nice clothes. So, but now, of course, now those clothes he gives us, of course, you have washed them, they are faded. So now I walked from tarmac to choir. I was shown to the auditorium. Because we were oriented. After the orientation, we were told, now what you will do after the orientation, you will go to the finance office. You clear with the accountant. Once you clear with the accountant, you are going to be given a registration number, you register units or something like that.
And then report.
And then now you report. Well, now I started just because I didn't know anybody.
Yes.
And I could see people looking so nice, my
And
God.
very organized.
Very organized. People are coming. Now.
And this did not discourage you. You're like, this is the right place.
Yes, I was not discouraged.
Actually, this is the right place. I want to be like these people.
This is where I'm going to be. So I went and looked at the finance office. There was a queue there, but there was not much I could do.
Did you have the money with you?
I had 50,000.
Yeah.
But I did not want to do anything with the 50,000 yet because they had said you have to pay 100% of the fees.
Clear the whole thing.
You have to clear the whole thing. So I did not have it. I had 50,000.
Yeah.
Hey. So I went back to Michael's house. I told Michael, where?
Kimeumana.
Hey, but I was not discouraged.
Yes.
You remember the uncle I told you of?
Yeah, the Lavington uncle or the publisher.
Yes. Not the Lavington one now.
Okay.
Now he's already moved. He lives in Karen.
He had moved. He had upgraded.
Yes, he's a big man. Respect him. Very good. He's been an inspiration. Hey, I went to his office and I said I want to see him. And he gave me audience. I told him, hey, now I've been called to this square. And
one thing you didn't tell these people is that you apply this thing on the side. It sounds like you qualified, now they want you there, but ideally you had actually applied.
Yes, I had applied.
But the big news is that at least one of those guys responded, which is Square.
Yes, he responded and I went.
And the way we are shaping these narratives that guys, man, I have an opportunity.
I have an opportunity.
They want me there.
They want me there, but now I don't have the money. So I went and talked to my uncle.
Yeah. You won't mention even the 50,000.
I did not mention because now I was not sure what
there are extras like transport, you need to buy some clothes and whatnot.
So I went and my uncle, very gracious man, told me we spoke. In his office we spoke. It's a beautiful place. And he gave me some money and then called one of my cousins who's a lawyer, who studied law.
Okay.
His sons, one of his sons, and told me, you will be in the hands of
this chief. That means you'll be staying together or you'll be guiding you?
He's going to help you.
Okay.
So my uncle handed me over to my cousin.
Did he give you the full school fee?
No. He did not give me the school fee. He gave me, he went to his briefcase. I remember he gave me some amount of money.
Yeah.
And basically, I think it was to tell you, okay, whoever have this amount of money,
just to take care,
just to see. But then he told me, okay, you'll deal with your cousin. So my cousin,
that's gracious, man.
Very gracious.
And maybe if I remember when I'm telling my story, I've ever done the same to one of my uncle. I live to tell, bro. He made me see the world differently.
Yes.
But that was quite gracious for him to really see you through. Yeah.
My uncle always thought very high of me from when I was a small boy. You remember I mentioned I used to write to him.
Yeah.
And this is someone who has been at the level of...
So he could see that vision.
Yes, he could see the vision. And he's a person who was at the level of cabinet secretary level, you know?
Yeah.
And he saw through me, and when he handed me over to my cousin... my cousin had started abroad, of course. He was running his father's business. He was also doing his own thing. And we are namesakes.
Karuga or Moremi?
Moremi.
Okay.
So he told me, okay, you've been called to choir and you don't have the money. Don't worry. These things happen.
Small things.
These are small things. So
one that 3,000. Come on, man.
So he put me in his car. Told me, he used to call me Junior. Junior.
Oh, you are younger than him?
Yes, I'm like 10 years younger than him.
Oh, okay.
So me, Junior, ingia 20. So he drove me. We went to Karen.
So you had not visited the home before?
No, I have.
You had visited Lavington?
No, I had visited Karen.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying we did not go to his house. We did not go to their house. We went to Karen. You see, Kwea is in Karen.
Oh, yeah.
So he took me. I think he picked up a few of his friends who went to Kwea asked about Kwea, whatnot. And then he drove me to Kwea. We went to Kwea together. He went and spoke to the those days it used to be called the financial controller. We entered his office, financial controller's office. He went and told the financial controller, this young man, in fact, I think he called me, this is my nephew, and he's been called to study law. He does not have the school fees.
Yes.
We are working on it. Please
admit him. Yes.
I don't know whether that gentleman was speaking much because I was admitted.
Yes.
Without paying school fees.
You are like.
So what I did.
How does this world work anyway?
So the money that my uncle had given me. You remember I told you my uncle gave me some money.
Yes.
And then the money I had out of it, and some money that my cousin gave me. I think it must have been a total of maybe 50,000 together. So I remained with something small. I was to deposit that money, and then the financial controller said, this guy is going to be admitted. He's going to pay school, he's going to clear school fees in due time. And then my cousin did not stop there. My cousin gave me money and told me, this money is to get you a hostel. So we went, saw a hostel. Very posh hostel. He paid, so everybody thought I came from a very wealthy family.
Yeah.
He paid for my accommodation. He gave me money.
For a whole month or the whole semester?
The entire semester.
Yeah.
He gave me the money. I think I can't remember how much we used to pay. He gave me money. And maybe I must mention this. So, Catholic University, where the law block is, maybe they have changed now. It used to be called Kanyarati. KH. Kanyarati halls. So the hostel I got was just next to Kanyarati. It was called Gloria Hostel or Glory, something like that. So my cousin paid for that accommodation, gave me money, and told me, don't you worry. What we will do, shule utasoma. You are going to go to school, and you're going to, because even me, I think he had also seen the potential.
Yeah.
And he told me, I'm going to hold your hand. You're going to go to school. Don't you worry about it. So now, when I went back to Michael's house, I told Michael, by the way, Michael,
me, I'm moving out.
I'm moving out because I have been given money by Moremi to pay for my accommodation.
Yes.
I have registered for the units, and I've registered to be a student. I already have my registration number.
Yes.
101-644-1 at the Catholic University.
Yes.
And now I am just set to go and start classes.
Yes.
So what Michael did, because I have already paid money at the hostel, Michael used to drive my uncle's old CRV, CRV Honda.
Yes.
So he had been given to be driving it.
The same uncle?
Not my uncle who owns a printing press.
Okay.
So Michael told me, very nice. So in fact, I took things from Michael's house. I took a blanket from Michael's house.
True to the word.
Yes.
A child in Africa is a community child.
Yes. I took a blanket from Michael's house. I took what is it called? I took bed sheets from Michael's house.
Yeah.
And I took some of Michael's clothes.
Okay.
He gave me. Generous man.
Yeah.
He used to, even growing up, he used to give me his clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah. His shoes.
Yeah.
And then we put, I did not have a bag.
Yes.
These, what we call Nigerian bags. You know them, eh?
Yes.
So those Nigerian bags are the ones I packed my things in.
Yeah.
Put them in the boot of the CRV. And Michael drove me
to Kwea.
Yes. Now the hostel.
Yes.
We had beef with my parents because now, quote unquote, beef of, so my auntie and uncle, by that standard, were also, they had really taken care of me as I grew up. And they could see the danger of me trying to go to an expensive school, while else there is no money to pay. So they were of the opinion, you need to go to
maybe college.
Go to college, and then you can upgrade slowly.
Teaching college, yeah.
But then I was against it and I said, no, I don't want to do that.
Because actually they're setting you up to do it at your own expense.
Yes, so I will not do it.
Yeah.
Okay? But now, so it got to a place where now I was mad at them, and of course they were mad at me. Even my parents were mad at me.
Yeah.
So they just had news that I have gone to Kwea. So Michael took me to Kwea. So I got the hostel, whatnot. The biggest challenge came when we started school. So the day I was to report, I reported after people had already started the classes.
Why?
Because you remember I paid my school fees later.
So you also paid your school fee?
No, you remember, what I'm saying is after I have been given this money, by the time I had gone to see my uncle, orientation had been over.
Okay, I see.
People had
so by the time you're sorting all these things,
yes,
people had already reported.
People had reported.
Okay.
So now when I joined, the class was already formed. So I remember when I went to, of course, I look completely like a village boy. And you know, in where now,
it's serious people.
It's bougie people.
Yeah.
Now when I went to class,
hey,
I sat next to a very beautiful girl. My goodness.
Hey.
I think I will withhold the name.
Hey. And lawyers are beautiful guys.
This girl was beautiful.
Hey.
So I sat next to her and I asked. Of course, I look like a village boy completely. So I asked. So it was a constitutional law class. So I asked this girl who was sitting next to me, how far have you guys gone? Can I see your notes? She gave me an eye like this. You know, maybe she thought I was trying to shoot my shot. I don't know, or something like that. She just rolled her eyes at me and continued. I was flabbergasted. Hey, is this what happens here? During break time, people used to go to the cafeteria
and have some snacks.
Have some nice snacks. There was no money for doing such things. So now
you are like hanging around waiting for the next class.
You just hang around. But let me tell you, my life is a miracle.
Yes.
And now this is what I have to mention her name. I met another friend, another colleague, Pauline Omamo. Pauline, I think those people were very emotionally intelligent. She could pick, I think, my situation. So what Pauline used to do whenever, in fact, it's very interesting because now that I work at Africa is Talking, one of the law firms that we work with, in fact, it's interesting because this is the law firm. ADRA is one of the law firms that helps us, external counsel at AT. Do you know Pauline is a partner in this law firm?
Oh, interesting.
So what Pauline used to do, used to call me, Kevin, used to call me Karuga. Let's go and have something to bite. So Pauline used to pay for my break.
So that you don't, at least you feel...
I feel, she was quickly...
part of the class,
very emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
So it was me and another guy called Job Mayaka. So
Job, you're both suffering.
Job. So Job Mayaka and myself, we were those people who we did not really fit because we were not of that standard. We did not have the money. So Pauline very quickly picked up
these two guys.
So we started a group discussion with Pauline. And then Pauline used to, when she's going to have her snacks,
she called you along.
I used to go with Pauline and Pauline used to get me her snacks. So she buys hers and buys mine.
And this other Omamo, the other chief.
Job Mayaka, yes. So Job Mayaka sometimes as well. I think now these days Job Mayaka is in the US. And I think Pauline touched my life in a very special way. I had not seen kindness like that. Because this lady, we've just become friends. She's sharing her snacks. We are in the same group discussion. You could tell her thinking was above us because she had gone through IB already at St. Mary's. Even the way we were doing assignments, you could tell she was thinking better. And I'm not surprised that she's done well. She's really done well. She started that law firm, and I mean it's amazing to when I keep remembering. In fact, I didn't even know that she was a partner until before we engaged them. I didn't know that she was a partner.
You just met her and you're like, oh,
yeah,
you are a partner here, and it's
and so it and I keep saying that when you do something good, it's going to come back to you. So I always remember what Pauline did to me. Maybe she does. I'm not sure I ever told her. But
maybe she's gonna watch this podcast and
hopefully
she'll hear. Actually, feel free to shout out to the guys who influenced who you are, man. It's quite amazing.
So I think Pauline,
for
some reason, I feel touched my life in a very special way. She did not look down upon me. Remember this other girl that I sat next to? I will not mention her name.
Yeah.
She just rolled her eyes and wondered, what is this village fellow
doing here?
What does she want to tell me?
Yeah.
But something happened because I always used to feel out of place when I was at choir, because now, of course, I'm not dressing the same way as the people who are there. You can look at, you can tell someone who's from the village. My good friend, one of my good friends says, Kimburukaba was someone who comes from the,
from the village.
From the village.
Yes.
But then now, my mother and my auntie and my grandmother and my parents basically called me and told me, I don't think it is tenable for you to stay in choir. Because remember, my uncle has not paid the entire amount. So by the time April is here, you need to have
another 133.
Yes. So you need another 133.
After the break.
Yes. So my mother, my auntie talked to my mother and told my mother, can you tell him to consider? So my auntie had seen an advert in the papers of Kabarak University. So they had just introduced the faculty of law.
Okay.
And my auntie said, can he apply to this one? Because now it was cheaper.
Because it's a government. No, actually, it's also private.
It's
private. A bit affordable.
Top notch.
Yeah.
But President Moi had highly subsidized it.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
So I agreed. But before, my cousin Muremi and my parents said, we are going to organize a harambe.
Okay.
So that we can call people.
They contribute
money for your school fee, so that we're even able to offset this amount.
Yes.
And that's what we did. So we produced cards. My parents went and invited people.
Yeah.
The day of the harambe must have been one of my saddest days in my life. Because we were in this hall called Mutira Church Hall.
Yes.
Big hall.
Yes. Expecting so many people.
We were expecting so many people.
Yes.
All the people that, rich uncle, rich cousin, friends. We printed those cards.
Yeah.
But I did not mention it to anybody in choir. But I told Pauline, we are actually going to get an harambe for me. Because school fees.
It's becoming a problem.
And
so you had even started opening up to Pauline the situation here.
Pauline had seen it by mistake. Pauline had seen the invitation card by mistake.
Before even you told her?
I was not intending to tell her.
So she asked you about it?
No, she saw. So as you know, I used to carry a bunch of cards. So Pauline already Pauline is seeing this guy is inviting his
It's a charity case.
It's a charity case. He's inviting people for harambe to pay school fees.
Yeah.
I don't remember what she said, but I think she had mentioned. She said, "Kabuga, you should have told me some of these things." Something like that. But on the day, the hall was half empty. Not half empty. It was almost empty. The hall.
No one showed up.
People showed up. But you see, in the village, people come with a lot of love. All right?
Yeah.
And they give with a lot of love.
What they have.
Yeah. But then you see, the target we have is of big money. So the people in the village showed up. They contributed what they were coming to contribute. I remember my mother, my grandmother, my aunties, they did their very best to invite. In fact, I remember my uncle, the one who owns the printing press, Babaluta, came with a bunch of friends and his employees, his other people, friends, to come and make the place, the thing become big.
Yeah.
And in fact, a lot of the money that was contributed was really contributed from within the family. But the people we counted on to come, the politicians, the people that we knew have the money, they did not show up. So I don't want to say it was not a success. It was a success because we raised something. But after paying, so we raised something that we were able to pay the balance.
Okay.
The balance.
And also feed the people who came.
It's in the village it's very communal.
Yeah.
So
people will bring food
people are able to cook easily. So there was of course enough for feeding the people. But then the money that we collected was enough to clear the balance for semester 1
in choir.
And for me to do my exams But then, it could not even scratch the service of semester 2.
Or even Kabarak.
Or even Kabarak, it could not. So I have already applied for Kabarak. So after we had paid everything, we remained with 53,000 shillings. After we had paid from the monies that contributed from the Harambee, we remained with 53,000 shillings. So 53,000 shillings, it was not even half of
the next semester's fee.
The next semester's fee. So luckily, I had already, I had gone to Kabarak myself, made my application. For some reason, I think they had wanted us to always go and pick applications personally.
From the Kabarak?
From Kabarak.
Campus.
So I went to Kabarak. I applied. So I think I applied. They used to have a satellite campus in town. So I applied and I was called to join Kabarak.
Oh, interesting. Huh?
So very swiftly now, the money that we used to pay at Kwea, they were 133. In Kabarak, 133 was going to cover tuition fee, accommodation, and food.
So if you had 133 per semester, you're sorted.
Yes. So it was 133,000 in Kabarak.
Yes.
For everything.
Yes.
So you see that is better. So in Kwea, it was 133 for tuition.
Yes.
So we used to pay other things. You pay your... So in the hostel, you are given breakfast and dinner.
Yeah.
So you sort your lunch.
Okay.
So but now in Kabarak, you have been given a place to sleep, a place to...
And food, yeah.
And that is where my life changed.
So you moved?
So I moved to Kabarak.
Yeah.
My mother took me to Kabarak. So, on the day I was going to Kabarak in April of 2010.
Yes.
After I finished my semester.
My first semester.
Yeah. So Kabarak had just started the law school.
Okay. So you guys were the pioneer students?
We were the pioneer students.
Yeah.
So in fact, the guys that the class I joined was a pioneering class, which had started in January.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a class of about 5-6 people. All right, in Kabarak.
So that's why even you got a slot there because anyway.
It was starting. So when I was called to join Kabarak, so my mother again told me, have you seen the school fees?
Which is still 133.
It's 133. Yes, for everything. But now
it's still quagmire.
We have 50,000 shillings. 53,000 shillings.
Yeah.
So what happened? Because I also did not want to only go with the Nigerian bag. From that 53,000,
you got a suitcase.
We went and got a suitcase.
Yeah.
A cheap suitcase. I think it was 1,200. And then we set out to go to Kabarak with faith
that is going to be
fine.
Yeah.
So when my mother took me to Kabarak,
yeah,
we went. There was I think Kabarak was not like Kwea. Kabarak, first of all, was beautiful. Nothing comparable to Kwea at that time.
Yeah.
To paint the picture, this was a personal project of President Moi.
Yeah, legacy project.
Yes. So President Moi was the second president of the Republic of Kenya. And Kabarak University, Kabarak High School was very highly reputed. So Kabarak High School came, Kabarak University came after.
The high school.
In fact, where the high school, where the university was, is what used to be the high school. All right? And they were the best facilities you'd ever think of in Kabarak.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that.
Yeah. And also, Muzee used to live there.
Yes.
Yeah.
We share the same gate with Muzee.
Yeah.
So Muzee, as you go to his house, you get into the same gate. Of course, there are other gates, but we share the same gate. And for the longest time, I had admired President Moi so much. You remember I told you when I was at...
you almost touched him.
I almost touched him.
Yeah.
You remember that song where you say you touch the
Jesus clock.
Yes.
Jesus clock and got healed. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was almost touching it.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to meet President Moi.
Yes.
That was a desire I had in my life.
Yeah.
From that day, I saw him atop of that limousine.
At the Kenyatta University.
At the Kenyatta University Primary School outside.
Yeah.
So anyway, when I go to admission day in Kabarak, so of course it's a busy day. When it came to our turn, so you had to go with your documents and the money. So when we went to Kabarak cash office, they said, it's 100%. You have to pay 100%. So wewe kaa kando. If you
we'll deal with your case after.
Because what we had done, they have a bank inside Kabarak.
Okay.
So transnational bank then. So we used to go and deposit the money we have.
Come with the receipt. So already the money is on their side. So we have you have the receipt that is not 100%.
We have the 50. We have a pink receipt.
Yeah.
So when we got to that table of admission, you cannot be admitted because you have not paid school fees.
Yes.
Can you go back home? Come with the balance. Now, remember, we have come from Kirinyaga with my mother. All right? It is already now dark and it is drizzling. It was during that time of the year because that was April.
Rainy season.
It was rainy season. Hey. What to do? So now we were stranded. Now, my mother, is she going to go back to Kirinyaga? Or are we going to go back together to Kirinyaga? And my mother is a prayerful woman. And she said, no.
Are you firstborn by any chance?
Yes, I am the firstborn.
Okay, I see. Uh-huh.
And now my mother I could tell she was now also praying in her heart, but also confused.
Yeah. Because here is a money problem.
We have come all the way from Kirinyaga to Nakuru.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Kabarak is in Nakuru.
Yeah. It's a whole distance.
Yeah. Now we don't have enough money.
And
now someone has told us you can't be admitted. The finance guy told us, unfortunately, you cannot.
Rules are rules.
Rules are rules you have to follow. Now what we did, so we were stranded. People have come, they have been taken where they need to be. So because it was raining, so outside the administration block, we were standing there with my mom and it was dark. It was it was around 6. Hey, we were sitting there now wondering, what do we do? So we wanted to go to town, get a place to stay. So one of my grandmother's brothers, father to this uncle that I've mentioned, lived in Nakuru. So of course now at least we would have a place to stay. We'll go and stay.
Yeah.
But now we were waiting for the rain to subside, and then we just go and see if we'll go to Nakuru. So as we were waiting there, of course now it's after hours.
Yes.
Offices have been closed.
Yeah.
And now I'm with my suitcase there, with my Nigeria bag there.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting for now to carry all of them back
to Kirinyaga.
To Kirinyaga now so that I can wait. So as we were waiting there with my mother, the administration door opened, and a gentleman carrying a newspaper walks out and asks us, "Have you guys been helped?"
This is a whole different person.
Yeah, I don't know who it is. So but you can tell from the way he's dressed, he's a senior person. He's a senior person. So my mother says, we came, but we don't have enough school fees, and now we have to go back to Kirinyaga because the finance guys have told us it is not possible to, and I have brought my son to join to study law. So this gentleman tells my mother, "You come." So they go with my mother. They get inside with my mother to his office.
Yeah.
So I later came to realize, to learn that he was the registrar in charge of academics.
He's the one who actually admits you.
He's the one who admits. He's the boss who signs
every admission. Yeah.
We had not met him. We did not know him. Dr. John Ochola. Another gentleman that has basically changed my life.
Okay.
So they go with my mother and I'm left there. So when my mother emerges from the door, he's smiling. She comes and tells me, "You have been admitted."
She has the papers or they signed everything?
So what happens? There is the pink slip. They used to give us receipts, the pink receipts. So those pink receipts, Dr. John Ochola just wrote, "Admit, give accommodation and meals." Signed by Dr. John Ochola. So Dr. John Ochola said, "You'll be given a place to sleep. Because you have not finished registration, your mother is going to go and get somewhere to sleep in town. She's going to come in tomorrow. But for the time being, you're going to get a place to sleep." So in fact, Dr. Ochola called people who were passing there. He called 2 boys. Now, well, we in university, we are not boys anymore. 2 young men. They said, "Help this guy to carry his bags. and he's going to be given to the hostel, and he's going to be given accommodation.
Yeah.
My mother was told, you go, come tomorrow.
Yes.
So to cut the long story short, Dr. Ochola, without knowing us, allowed me to be admitted as a student at Kabarak University.
Yes. And that's how your journey at Kabarak University started.
And that is where my life changed.
Yeah. Were you given a scholarship, or what actually happened?
My life changed. Because I told you we did not have any other money.
That was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
But God sent his angels.
Yes.
You remember my cousin Muremi?
Yeah.
Muremi had promised me that he was going to stand with me.
Yes.
So I told him, by the way, Muremi, I have moved from
Kwea
to
Kabarak.
But I was afraid to tell him, because now he would see, why are you moving?
Yeah.
You're not serious.
Yeah.
But anyway, I told him and he understood.
Yeah.
And he used to send me stipend.
Every semester?
Yes, every month.
Okay.
He used to send me something every month.
Yeah.
And he even started chipping in with my school fees.
Oh, nice.
But then now my parents also were also working very hard to send something.
Yeah.
So what I used to do is that whenever my parents would send the money, I would tell Muremi, my parents have managed to send this, but I have a balance.
Yeah.
So Muremi would dutifully send me the balance.
Yeah. And what about the uncle, the current uncle?
He already handed me over to Muremi. Muremi is his son.
Oh, okay.
So he already handed me to so I don't have to
call him directly. Yeah.
So Muremi is already dealing with me, and Muremi took me in.
Yeah.
He took care of me. And I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So in fact, if it was not for Muremi,
I could not have
gotten where I got.
Yeah.
Because he basically kept his word.
Yeah.
He supported me.
Yes.
He gave me money whenever I needed money, whenever there was a balance. But then something funny happened. I told you my life changed at Kabarak. And I had never seen any place like Kabarak. Because let me tell you, my brother, in Kabarak, we were treated like kings and queens. We ate the best food, 3-course meals from breakfast. Breakfast, when you went to Kabarak, I think now it has changed, but then from breakfast, we used to start with cereal. From cereal, you could either take Weetabix or cornflakes. There were fried eggs. There were boiled eggs. There were sausages. There was bacon. There was bread with butter.
You just choose
what you want. Lunchtime, the same thing. There was counter 1, counter 2, counter 3. Whatever you want to eat.
Just eat.
You eat.
So you have no reason not to really do well.
Yes.
And what about the teaching staff?
Excellent. President Moi brought Professor PLO Lumumba to start the...
Who was also teaching the University of Nairobi.
Yes.
Yeah.
PLO Lumumba, of course, is reputed.
Yeah.
And in fact, he's one of the people who had made me choose law because I had heard PLO Lumumba speak. And I wanted to be like him. So now, Professor Lumumba becomes my professor.
Yes, we lost him in a few days.
Weeks. Yes. You need to.
Yeah.
Because I used to look at Professor Lumumba speaking. And you see, I'm telling you, we were a class of, I think, 6 people.
Yeah.
So you can imagine it is personalized attention.
Yeah.
Professor Lumumba is teaching.
Yeah.
Constitutional
going
law.
deep.
Going deep.
Yeah.
So what President Moi did, he got the best.
Yeah.
The ratio of the books in Kabarak was 1:1.
There is no, sharing.
You're not going to share books.
Booking and all that.
The library was state of the art. The mess, state of the art. The accommodation area, state of the art. We used to have big screens in the common areas. Well cleaned. We used to have clean bathrooms. I had never seen anything. We used to drink milk. Milk.
Fresh milk.
Fresh milk was stationed in every corner of...
That was from his cows or?
Yes, from Muze's cows.
Yeah.
We had Muze's cows. Muze had a bakery inside the Kabarak.
So everything was internally...
Everything became Kabarak is a community. You remember even church, the Kabarak Chapel. When we were small kids, we used to hear in the news, KBC news, that Mtukufu Rais Moi leo alikuwa katika AIC Kabarak. Na that I had heard of Jonas Kaleri. That time was Reverend Kaleri used to be the chaplain at Kabarak. So now I came and I saw the magnificent,
Firsthand.
the magnificent chapel.
Yes. Did you get to meet him?
I'm going to go there because I'm telling you that is where my life changed.
Okay. Yes.
My life changed at Kabarak.
Yes.
Because I joined Kabarak in May of 2010. And by November, I was the president of the student union.
In Kabarak University?
Yes.
Yeah.
Within how long?
A span of 6 to 7 months.
Yes. So I came and the favor of God followed me.
Yeah.
So here I have started I've joined the legal class. I have become interested in the student politics. I have vied for student politics.
Yes.
People did not, I had not been there.
Yes.
I was campaigning against people who had been there for years.
Yes.
But at that time, I was among actually, because that was the first year, I was I was the youngest student president at that time. So I was elected student president.
Yeah.
And again, that's now when my life started taking another trajectory.
Yes.
So now as student president, you're involved in day-to-day decision making,
leadership.
And one day, when I was speaking in front of a big audience with President Moi there, President Moi was impressed by me. So President Moi asked the DVC, Professor Chepkilot, who is that young man? Professor Chepkilot says, that is our new president of the student union.
Yeah.
He's called Kevin. He's one of our pioneering law students. And President Moi was very passionate about the law class. So President Moi told him, can you bring him for tea at my house? So Professor Chepkilot took me to President Moi's house.
Yes.
The three of us. President Moi, myself, Professor Chepkilot. President Moi asked for me to go. A dream of mine came true. From that day of, what is it called? Kenyatta University.
Yes.
President Moi met me for the first time. And now President Moi asked me, what are you up to? Where are you from?
Yeah.
When I told him I'm from Kirinyaga, he started asking me about the people, the big people.
And then he had retired.
He retired.
Yeah.
But he was still very strong.
Actually, until his death, he was very influential.
He was very strong.
Yeah.
And even when I was speaking about people from Kirinyaga, he asked me, do you know so and so? My uncle, who used to be a PS in his government.
Yes.
I said, yeah, in fact, that's my uncle.
Yes.
And when I left President Moi's house, I went with 200,000 shillings. He gave me 200,000.
So if you had any fee arrears or whatever not, you could actually...
But it was not for the fee arrears. Professor Chepkilot mentioned as well that he's a needy student. And if there's anything that President Moi loved,
it's to help other people.
Was education and to help other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So from then on, my life changed because being a student leader, I used to be given a stipend.
Yes.
And now
I have access to Mzee.
I have access to Mzee. And I started seeing Mzee often.
Yeah.
It was not a one-off. Even when he's coming to church, I am the one who's receiving him.
Yes.
So
you become familiar.
He becomes familiar. He gets to know me.
Yeah. And also you are learning why Moi was Moi.
Yes. And I'm telling you, I admired him. I wanted to be Moi. In the sense of he was a leader. When you sat down with him, he was a towering man, and you could not look at him in the eye because his eyes they were piercing. So what happened? President Moi decided that this young man is going to study here. And so because now I had started having there was a few arrears here and there. Now being the student president, it was not a good picture.
Doesn't look good, yeah.
So the dean of students at that time was called Dr. Bichura, Eliud Bichura. God bless that man. Another man who really touched my life. He put me on a list of what we call the UMC scholarship. So he proposed that I be given a scholarship by it was called UMC. UMC was what was it? It was one of the universities in the US that had partnered with Kabarak.
Okay.
And we were put through that program, but then it did not materialize. So what happened? We had been promised scholarship, but then it did not materialize. So school fees was also piling up. But at this time, even Muremi is still helping.
Yeah.
But there was also something piling up because now there's money that we needed to pay. So whatever he was assisting me with, mostly he was assisting me with, of course, school fees, and because after having been given the scholarship, being told that we'll have the scholarship, I knew then this is sorted. But then it was not sorted. So there's some amount that started accumulating. So when Mzee heard about it, Mzee paid everything. Mzee cleared everything for me, and he said, "Let that young man finish."
So he cleared all the way.
He cleared everything. So ideally, when I was leaving Kabarak, I was living like a king. Because that was the first time I even got on a flight. Mzee paid us. Mzee, we went to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And when we went to Mzee, I went to Mzee and told Mzee, "Hey, Mzee, we are supposed to go to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia for a competition. And I don't have the air ticket and I don't have money." Mzee gave us money. He was Mzee was generous. Very generous. And now he gave us money, he used to sponsor, whatnot. But then from Kabarak, that's where I made my contacts. Political contacts.
Those people used to come to visit him for advice.
People are coming, but then also being a student leader, you're also exposed now to the current affairs in government. What happened? And I remember that time, that's how I ended up working with with Vice President then, Kalonzo Musyoka. If you remember, there was the yes and no vote.
Orange and banana.
Yes, during when we were voting for the constitution. And I worked very closely with Kalonzo Musyoka at that time. I worked with his PA at the time. So I was basically like a PA of his PA. At that time, I was, we were going around because if you remember, there was that KK alliance at the time when he wanted to be president after Kibaki.
Yes.
So I was involved as a result of being a student leader. I was exposed to these kind of national leaders.
Yeah.
So I went around with Kalonzo and his team, drumming up support for him because he wanted to become president.
Yeah.
And many other people that I basically came to get into contact with. But I have to say that Kabarak changed my life.
Yeah.
Because I was given a real opportunity to be a leader. I was given an opportunity to be in a setting that is world class. Because Kabarak is a world class university. The facilities we were given were world class.
Yeah.
I was given an opportunity to sit with leaders. In fact, one time my mother came to visit for the it was a Parents' Day. There's what used to be called an AGM for parents, and President Moi was at the table there. So we used to sit. I was also at the high table.
He was a chancellor for the university.
He was a chancellor of the university.
Yeah.
And when I was invited to give my speech as president, and I think it's still on YouTube, I was given an opportunity to speak. I said I was going to recognize.
Which year was this? You should check this out.
Yes. Yeah. Check it out. Kevin Karuga, Kuso president.
Chief, you should add this in this interview so that people can know what you're talking about.
When I stood up, I said, before I continue, I had to recognize my mother. I said, can my mother stand up? That
was a proud moment.
And she was so proud and she was so happy. And it was thunderous. People were clapping and applauding me. And I felt, yes, I'm speaking in front of President Moi.
Yes.
The same boy from the village.
Yes.
Oh, it was a golden moment for me. That day, my mother was invited to dine with the president. So you can see how basically...
Chief, you looked the part. I can see the interview. You really looked the part.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
you have changed a lot.
Definitely. Now, of course, my hair is...
Even you're more brown. What I see here, it's something different. Maybe our chief here, you will hide so that I can see. You cannot recognize the guy here.
It's different.
If I was told this is you, I would be like, okay, wait a minute.
Yes.
Nice.
All I have to say is that my life changed. And then I got friends, people that really walked with me. I remember one of the guys that was called by Dr. Ochola to carry my bags ended up becoming one of my closest friends. Paul Mashari Angarange is now in Australia. He became my roommate. He was from Nakuru. He's from Nakuru. His parents live in Nakuru. And I basically became family to him. Because now, of course, Paul was from a much well-up family. And he used to drive his father's Land Rover. And so every time, and I've ever met people who are very humble, down to earth. That was what my roommate Paul was. So he introduced me to his parents, to his family, and now as a result, I started getting to, I got to have many other friends. And God really sent people within Kabarak who are basically angels for me through that transition period.
Yes.
And it was amazing. Yeah. But as I say, the same thing I said about Keronga municipality, what I'm saying about Kabarak, I think those were turning points in my life.
Yeah. And Chief even became East Africa president.
Yes. I became the president
still in Kabarak, right?
In Kabarak.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it. Actually, I didn't forgotten.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I became the president of the East Africa Students Union.
Yes. That's super amazing,
yes.
Man.
And those are the days when we used to go to Kigali meeting President Kagame.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Yeah. And having discussion about East Africa community. Yes.
And I'm telling you, I'm passionate about Africa.
Yeah.
I am passionate about changing Africa in our lifetime.
Yes.
And if there's anyone who's as enthusiastic, I think Graham has been very enthusiastic and saying that we need to change Africa.
In our lifetime. Yes.
I'm passionate about Africa because Africa has a lot of potential. And I want to be at the forefront
of that.
So, even working at Africa is Talking, we are changing Africa.
Yes.
One step at a time.
Yes.
So when I retrace my steps, I can see how the dots continue to join.
Yes.
Because even when I became East Africa president of the East Africa Union, it was, in fact, that reminds me, we competed with Babu Owino.
Yeah, because Babu now stayed in school for 8 years just to be the president of...
So I remember the Kenya University Students Organization.
Yeah.
I vied for president.
Yeah.
Together with Babu.
Yes.
That time Babu was president of SONU.
Yes.
Of course, he beat me to it.
Yes.
But that's how far now we go back.
Yes.
With someone like Babu.
Yes.
With, during that time.
Yes.
And so for me, I am, and that passion has not died.
Yes. It should not.
It's only getting deeper because even on leadership, I'm looking to be able to be part of the change. Change we can really believe in. In fact, when I was president of the Student Union, my slogan was change we can believe in.
Yes.
And the people wore t-shirts saying change is in the air.
Yeah.
I still have those t-shirts today, some of them saying change is in the air.
Chief, I never knew even you had a YouTube channel with 9 subscribers. Guys, if you see this, subscribe to Kevin Karuga.
Oh my God, it's...
and it has some interesting videos. Yeah, most of them Moise and you giving a lot of speech there.
Yeah, but that's a long time ago.
10 years.
That's 10 years.
Yeah,
And I have 9 subscribers.
We need to do something.
Please subscribe.
Maybe we should be talking to people here. Actually, we'll share these videos so that you can cross up, Yeah.
A new subscriber. Very good.
Yes,
very good.
Yes.
I think I didn't even remember I need to revive that channel.
I hope you have the email though, because
yes, I think I do. Yes, I think I do.
Yeah, please. Yeah. We can be having discussions here about a lot of things because there's so much actually of shared that if you are not, it remains unknown.
Yes.
But Chief, you graduate from Kabarak.
Yes.
With all these network effects. Did you do well with your
top of my class?
Top of your class. Yeah. They call it what? Magnum?
Well,
there is no Magnum.
During our year, we didn't have a first class honors.
Okay.
we had second class upper.
Okay.
And in our law class, there are students I consider were top.
They are like first
creme
class.
de la creme.
Yeah.
And my good friend Wakili Hassan Minad, I consider him to have been the best student during our year.
Yeah.
We graduated the same honors. But even today, I go to Minad. Sharp mind. Minad was very quiet, but he never lacked an answer to
anything.
Legal problems. He thinks very legally. He's a lawyer, proper. But all the same, and in our class, people like John Gikenye were top of the class. All of us, in fact, when I look at my graduation photo, we were sitting at the front, all of us, with Brian Awonda, John Gikenye and others. But at least and I got an award. President Moi gave me an award of the best student in patriotic and servant leadership.
Wow.
Yeah.
Honorary.
Yeah.
From Moi.
Yes. President Moi, that's what I received. Yes, I still have the trophy.
Yeah.
And the photos.
Yeah.
And that I felt some sense of pride.
The guy you looked up to recognizes your efforts.
So I finished Kabarak. And I got an opportunity to go to the US. I go and tell Mzee.
To study more or just to
for an exchange program.
Okay.
So I got an exchange program to go, and they call summer work. So I went and told Mzee, hey, Mzee, I've been in fact, we got it through Kabarak, really. We've got an opportunity to go to the US, and I don't have money to go to the US. And of course, at home, I would not say pay my flight ticket. My parents, prayerful as always, supported me and have continued to support me as much as possible.
Yeah.
But they did not have money to pay my flight ticket to the US.
Yes.
So I went, got my first, of course I had now, courtesy of being a student leader and being in Kabarak, I had gotten a passport. I had started flying around.
In Kigali and Uganda and Tanzania.
I had been to Kuala Lumpur. I think that was one of my most memorable trips. In fact, I think it's, we had gone through, we had gone for the SAIF World Cup. You've heard of SAIF, Students in Free Enterprise. It used to be a club those days.
Yeah. A friend of mine from Tanzania, I think, also went there. You remember Kalila Mboy? Also, you have not released a podcast. I think, if I'm not wrong, she studied there, but also she was part of such programs. She's an entrepreneur.
Yes, so it was excellent. Yeah. So I go and tell Mzee, I have got an opportunity to go to the US. And Mzee gave me money, paid my flight ticket, gave me pocket money.
No questions asked.
No, Mzee did not ask questions with money. And I remember when I went to Mzee, he used to have a phone. When you sit down with him, he always used to have a phone with him.
The traditional...
Yes, the traditional one.
Yes.
And I keep remembering that. And one of my bosses when I started working at the bank makes fun of that. Yeah. So I used to tell him what Mzee used to do. So when he picked the phone, automatically someone else used to answer.
So it's like someone was just waiting for Mzee to say something.
So I think when Mzee used to pick up the phone, so I remember that day I went to his, it was just Mzee.
He did not even dial.
I don't remember him dialing. He used to pick it up. It was just Mzee and me in the room.
Yeah.
So he picks it up and says, Bezandugu. Bezandugu. He didn't say anything else. Bezandugu. And then someone comes with a briefcase.
So it was just a communication around the house.
Around the house, yes. So he just picks it up. There's the guy, Bezandugu. The guy comes with a briefcase. Mzee opens the briefcase, hands me money, and then
returns the briefcase.
And then acknowledges. And Mzee was, those people whose stories I think has not really been told. People have said things about Mzee Moi, but I experienced his generosity firsthand. Mzee was down to earth. Mzee was generous. What are you saying? I sat down with him, just the two of us, and I never ever thought in my own imagination that I would ever sit with President Moi. I think I have a lot of, when I write my memoirs, finally, I think I'm going to pen down a lot of things that I may not remember now about what happened. But to cut the long story short,
Yes.
I go to the US.
Yeah.
So I get a visa to go and work at a place called Camp of the Woods.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Christian resort in Speculator, New York. And I had gone there to work as a camp counselor. And my job was housekeeping. You know what housekeeping is?
The guys who spread the bed and make sure everything is in order.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. My work was housekeeping. So, because I'm telling you, it's a resort. When you look it up, it's still the Camp of the Woods, Speculator, New York.
Is it like a cottage? Or?
It's a multi-million facility.
Okay.
Where people go on holiday.
Okay.
Okay? So they get people to go as camp counselors. It's a Christian institution.
Yeah.
So people go as camp counselors.
Yeah.
And you are assigned different roles. Okay. So for me, I was assigned housekeeping duties. I worked in the kitchen. And I was also part-time. I was doing wait staff. I was a waiter. And do you know, I thoroughly enjoyed because housekeeping, what it entailed, you have guests.
Yeah.
It's to make sure you clean their rooms in the morning. You are cleaning their trash, the bathroom, scrubbing
Changing
the place,
the bed,
changing
beddings.
the bedding, ensuring the place is spick and span.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed working at Camp of the Woods. You know, housekeeping.
Yes.
I loved it.
Yes. I remember you at one juncture, I don't know if you remember, not so long ago, saying that if you're not doing what you're doing, you love hospitality.
Yes.
Yes.
I love to see people comfortable.
Yes.
I love to see people happy.
Yes.
The days when I was given duties to become a waiter, a waiter in the restaurant, I loved it. And I received tips. The envelopes were heavy. Those days, I remember. I remember when I went to the US at that time, I remember sending my mother 100,000.
You're like a king.
Those days, yes.
Yeah.
I have got to see, my grandmother always tells me, wherever you go, go and get what is there. When you see something new that you need to bring home, bring. All right?
But absorb.
Yes. So I went and that was an experience and a half.
And it sounds like your grandmother has a huge impact in your life.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
I can have a whole podcast about
grandmother.
About my grandmother.
Yeah. One, she's brilliant. If she went to school, she could be a Wangari mother.
She went to
a Nobel
school.
Peace Prize.
Do you know today?
Yeah.
So my grandmother is about 84.
Yes.
But do you know, current affairs.
Yeah.
You see, when we are speaking about the funding model of schools, when we are speaking about Finance Act,
she's well aware of all these things.
When we're speaking about Maandamano, she knows.
Does she listen to the radio or?
Yes. Radio and TV.
Okay.
So you see now at least we have vernacular.
Yeah.
In fact, my grandmother tells me that she went to school in the 1930s, but dropped out because it was very far from where they used to live, and it was very cold in the morning. So
Kirinyaga is fairly cold.
So she did not want to go. That was in the 1930s.
Yeah.
She did not want to go to school. And but if she had gone to school, that woman, that lady would have turned out to be a Wangari Maathai for sure. I borrow my auntie's words because she's up to date, she's sharp, intelligent, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I go to the US, do my time, and then I had the option of staying, but I needed to go to law school.
Okay.
So I had to come back.
Why couldn't you go there?
You know, in Kenya, for you to be an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, you have to go to Kenya School of Law.
Yes.
So you cannot do Kenya School of Law online. I don't know that it has changed. So for you to be admitted to the bar, so maybe I paint a picture a bit.
To be a barrister.
Yes, for you to be an advocate. So we call them advocates in Kenya. For you to be an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, you have to go to have an LLB, Bachelor of Laws degree, 4 years. And then you have to go and do your Kenya School of Law. You do your postgraduate diploma in law. All right? So when you do your postgraduate diploma in law, it is usually for 18 months. 12 of those months, you are doing school classwork. And 6 of those months, you are doing apprenticeship, what is called pupillage, under the wing of a lawyer, an advocate who has practiced for more than 5 years.
So it doesn't have to be the court. It can be a farm. It can be...
So you have mostly is usually, I think they have broadened where you can go,
Yeah.
but it used to be law firms.
Okay.
You go to a law firm, you are attached there for 6 months, and then you go and now graduate. So law school was very tough. And I'm sure you've had the reputation of how people in law school are always failing their exams.
Always. People will spend even 6 years
A lot of
just
people,
doing that.
I know people who, and it's, I don't know, it's not always straightforward.
Yeah.
So anyway, I came and...
But I wonder why that is, given that people graduate and, some of them are first class, second upper, but still fail the diploma.
But I think Kenya School of Law is rigorous because it is basically grilling you on the actual practice.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I feel like there is also, you are taught, there's a lot of things to absorb within a very short time.
Okay.
Right? So it becomes a bit difficult.
Yeah.
So sometimes a lot of people don't pass at the first attempt.
Okay.
So I go to the Kenya School of Law. Moremi, you remember Moremi?
Yes.
Still holding my hand. He's keeping his promise. You remember he told me I'll support you.
Yes.
He kept supporting me.
Yes.
When I told him I'm going to the Kenya School of Law, he said, okay. I'll support. How much is it?
Yes.
I'll pay.
Yes.
How much do you need for accommodation and monthly expenses? I'll pay.
Yes. So apparently at this point he's doing a bit better.
He did. He was always doing better. From the word go. From the day he paid my money.
I have so many questions, but less answers in this. Because in the choir story, and now he's ready to support the Kenya School of Law, everything.
So he supported me, and of course, you can see my grades are good.
Yeah,
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went to law school, did well. We passed law school.
First attempt.
I did not pass at my first attempt.
Okay.
So in law school you say you get P's. So you usually get 9 P's to pass. 9 P's is you've gotten 9 straight passes.
Okay.
In the 9 units. So I got 8 P's.
Oh, we missed one.
I missed one.
So you don't have to repeat the 8.
Yes. So
you just work with one.
You repeat one.
Okay.
I was lucky when I repeated, I basically passed. So I was admitted to the bar. With the others who had passed.
And how long does it take to take 1P?
It depends.
Is it the same time or?
Yeah, the exams but I can't remember when the exams are out. But I remember exactly immediately the exams are out. I think you can do it within a month.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So before people were admitted, I had gotten my 9 Ps. I graduated.
So you admitted the same class that you were with.
Yes, I was admitted. But then now, you remember I told you pupillage. And pupillage is 6 months. So after I finished law school, I went into a law firm. You remember when I mentioned J.K. Kibicho?
Yes.
So J.K. Kibicho is an amazing law firm. Used to was pioneered by our former member of parliament that I mentioned.
The Kibicho.
The Kibicho.
Yeah.
It's been a law firm for many years.
Yeah.
And so that's where I started my pupillage. But I did not stay there for long. I think I stayed there for a month. And I got an opportunity to go and intern at the bank. So basically that's how my career basically starts.
And this is now Stanbic Bank.
Yes, I went to Stanbic Bank.
Yes.
And that's how, so I immediately law school. I went to JK Kibicho for, it was 1 month. So when I left JK Kibicho, so Stanbic Bank used to have a pupillage program, but it was a 1 year program. So it was
not 6 months.
It was not a 6 month program. Yeah. So it was a 1 year full-fledged program.
Yeah.
So that now...
So if you join them for this pupillage, it has to take 1 year.
So it has to take 1 year.
Yeah.
But now, the amazing thing is, it's a properly paid job.
Okay.
All right?
So you're not struggling. It's more like less paid, but you still paid.
You are paid, yes. So comparing it with my colleagues in law firms,
you're
I was 10 times better. All right? So you find that now that's how my career starts.
Yes.
So you see now I have finished law school. I have gotten into pupillage. So I have gotten to Stanbic Bank. And I start my career.
Yes.
I would say my career proper starts there.
Stanbic.
Because now career-wise, I met people who are dynamic. I met people who changed my life professionally.
Yes.
Because you remember I mentioned Kanyarati in Kwea.
Yes.
So where we used to stay, we used to call the place Kanyarati.
Yes.
Kanyarati used to be owned by, that land used to be owned by a Kanyarati. And now Kanyarati
is a person.
Is a person.
Okay.
So Kanyarati, the son of that Kanyarati, apparently, was my first boss.
At Stanbic. Yeah.
All right? And he signed my appointment letter, Ken Kanyarati. And Ken Kanyarati impacted my life.
Wait a minute. How?
So, Ken Kanyarati was the head of legal at the time. When I joined the bank, he was the head of legal.
Yes.
And Ken Kanyarati, you see, of course, now when you receive your appointment letter, it is signed by your line manager. So, being the head of legal, not line manager, you're the department head. So Ken Kanyarati was the head of legal and compliance. All right? So he basically is the one who signed my appointment letter.
Yes.
And when I joined, Ken Kanyarati and the team, because I remember the legal team that was at Stanbic at the time, it was my direct supervisor at the time was called Eric Otonglo. Perfect gentleman. He showed me the ropes of how to do things.
This is now in the practice.
In practice.
Yeah.
And Eliud Ogutu.
Yes.
Eliud Ogutu, I think, might have been deputy head of legal at the time, but I think he had been stationed outside, maybe, and then he came back. He found me having started.
Actually, for those who don't know, Stanbic is a Pan-African bank.
It is a Pan-African bank. And it's, I would say, even at that time, has been an excellent employer. Yeah. And I learned so much. So I remember I keep making fun that Kanyarati told me because being, my title was legal assistant. Assistant legal counsel. Okay. All right. So my work was basically very clerical and helping with running the department stuff. Yeah. So I used to help with the drafting letters. And so when I take them to the boss to sign, so Kanyarati showed me and told me, when you're writing letters, you don't have to bold, underline. These days we have moved from those things. So he taught me how to write a proper letter. But then what surprised me is that this man was very senior within the bank, yet so humble. Yes. He used to
ensuring that you're doing the right job.
Yes, he used to come to my desk. Yeah. From his desk, come to my desk and he would show me things.
How to do things properly.
When I speak of my direct supervisor at the time, Eric Otonglo, a perfect gentleman, as I said, he basically now, because I was now working under him day to day, he really now showed me the path, the ropes, of what to do. And Eric went a notch higher. He did not only train me to be a lawyer, he mentored me outside legal practice. Every time we went for lunch, Eric used to pay my bill. He used to show me, how do you treat people? How do you prioritize work? And Eric, even today, when I want help,
you go to this chief.
I call Eric Otonglo and I tell Otonglo, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So these are people that actually really mentored me. You had me mention of, so Kanyarati moved on to become head of compliance East Africa. So head of legal became now, you had me mention of Eliud Ogutu. Yes. Eliud now became...
your direct supervisor?
No. Now there was Eliud Ogutu now became head of legal. My direct supervisor at the time was senior legal counsel. Okay. He was Eric Otonglo. Okay. So basically now we used to sit in an open space together. And these men practically mentored me. Not only legally, but even... in
how to navigate the corporate world.
Yeah, and also personal life. Yeah. So it was amazing. Something happened. So when I joined Stanbic, I was there. I was assistant legal counsel, and my contract was supposed to be for a year. But it did not last a year. before the year ended, when it was about 9 months, an opportunity opened up within the bank. So they are legal at that time. Now I think it's been merged. But that time there used to be legal, there used to be compliance, and then there used to be governance. Governance was company secretary duties. So an opportunity came up within the company secretary department. And I applied for it. And I got the position. So before I finished my 12 months. So
you're already a full employee just for the purpose of...
Yes. So in fact, by the time I was being admitted to the bar to be an advocate,
you already had the job.
I already had a job. I was already an assistant legal officer. It was called... my role then was assistant legal officer and share registrar within the company secretary department.
Yes.
And this is how my career life
started.
Really picked up. Because I realized, as a lawyer, there are many different aspects of the law, you know? And I realized what I really enjoy. You remember I told you I'm a customer person. I love dealing with people.
Yes.
I love seeing things and systems go properly. So when I went to when I moved to the governance wing, I was basically going to work directly with the company secretary and the board and shareholders. And that was a lot of relationship building.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So what happened is the company secretary at the time, I think must have been one of the most brilliant legal minds that I came across. Because everything I learned on governance today, I learned from the company secretary at the time, Lilian Bindio. Brilliant legal mind.
Yes.
You've heard of people who are thorough? My boss was thorough.
Yes.
The company secretary was thorough. And by all means, she was extremely highly qualified. With an LLB, with an LLM, you know, Ivy League educated. And she basically understood. You see, you could not, whatever you knew, she knew.
Yes. So she was all way rounded.
She was all round. And when you did your job, she would look at it and she would guide. I keep wondering how she got so much time to review our work, to know what's happening, you know. But, Michael, I must say that everything I learned on governance, I learned it from her. Because she was good. She was thorough.
Yeah.
She knew her stuff. She could wake up in the... And you know, she could quote the CMA code.
Yes.
She could quote the rules. She understood.
Yeah.
And so what I learned as a result. So what happened for me at Stanbic, I was now exposed to dealing with the board. And you see, the board is the highest organ in the organization.
Yeah.
So as in my role as assisting the company secretary, my role was to ensure that I am ensuring that the board receives whatever needs to be received. If there's paperwork to be signed, there's communication to be given to directors.
Yeah.
I was supposed to deal directly with the board.
Yes.
And the people at the board level at that time at Stanbic, creme de la creme, polished. Like
so you cannot afford to just do an incomplete work or, work that is not impeccable.
Then
standard.
What surprised me is that these people are very humble.
But I hear also these people have lawyers, so when you take all these work, they have senior counsel who will review and say, this one is going off the rails.
In fact, I worked with impeccable people at the board level. I remember at the time, the chairman of the board was senior counsel Fred Ojambo.
There you go.
Mr. Kitili Mbadhi.
Serious people.
Polished. You remember?
Yeah.
I mean, I worked, the caliber of people at the board was so high,
Yeah.
yet so humble. So in my role, and I was a very junior person, in my role, them interacting with me, you could tell a sense of respect. All right?
To what you do.
To what you do. So that taught me a lot. The same thing even from my boss. I learned perfection. That you don't just do, she used to call it shoddy work. You don't just do shoddy work. You have to look at what you're doing, because she had an eye of where you have not this comma. Where haven't you put the full stop where it's supposed to be? And I used to wonder, why is she telling me to put a comma? You know, and sometimes I would get upset. But the truth of the matter is that she was training me.
To be much better.
Yes, to organize. If you came to the filing system we had at the bank, she had taught us that you meticulously file your documentation. You ensure that everything is in order. When you ask for anything today, you can
know where it is.
You know where it is.
Yes.
So for that, I really thank her. She was very tough on us, but she shaped us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting, man. Like your journey is one of full of lessons and recognition of the people who impacted who you are, Karuga.
Yeah.
And in these quests, what was the biggest challenge? Because I know banks sometimes can be really, really hard, especially legally.
So, yes. So, luckily,
they say in US that the best banks hire the best lawyers to make sure that they don't get the wrong side of the law.
Yes. So
is it the same here in Kenya?
Yeah, it's banks, and you see when you're talking about Stanbic Bank, is a highly reputed bank.
Yeah.
It's been South African first of all.
Yeah.
So cascaded into other parts of Africa.
Yeah.
Those days we used to call it rest of Africa. So it is a top tier bank. They know their stuff. They know what they are doing. I still use Stanbic Bank today for my transactions.
Yes.
They're efficient.
Yes.
And I've not been paid to advertise, but they're efficient.
Yes.
And
but we should say they should sponsor this podcast.
They should.
They are our partners.
Yes.
We love them. We also use them as a company. So
we use them as a company. Actually, we use Stanbic in Kenya, in Uganda as well. And I mean, South Africa.
Yeah.
There were the challenges I faced at the bank. So for me, I told you I have moved from the legal compliance.
Yes.
I have moved to governance.
Yes.
So I am now governance is it's a very prestigious area. You know, it's a posh area because now you're dealing with the board, you're dealing with the
decision
CEO,
makers.
You're every day you are with the decision makers.
You are letting into the company secrets.
Yes, so you are basically holding the company secrets. You are the one who is holding board minutes, board books, whatever. So it's very sensitive information. And you cannot go and speak about it to anybody. All right? So I was very young in my career. I've just started my career.
Yeah.
And the biggest challenge, but before even I go there, I want to mention that when I joined the department, I went and told my boss after a while.
The lady now.
The lady, yes. I told her, hey, Lillian, I think I would want my salary to be increased. And there's something she did. Do you know? She gave me, it must have been a 70% increment. She proposed.
You mean she was surprised that you have this position, but the salary is still the same?
Yes. She told me, Kevin, I didn't know this is how much you make. Immediately she did a motivation. God bless that lady. She did a motivation.
Yes.
And I got a 70% increment and I got promoted.
Immediately?
Yes.
Yes. This after 1 year, 2 years?
No. Months. I joined the department in November.
Yes.
And before September,
yes,
I already graduated into a legal officer from an assistant. So how I look at that is that she promoted. I mean, it was she was human at that point. I just go and I didn't think much of it.
You were just trying your
I was just trying my luck. And she said, oh, 70% bump.
Yes.
Immediately.
You cannot be suffering like this.
So 1 month,
yes,
I was adding this. The next month,
you are bowling.
Yes, 70% more.
Yes.
But then I'll have something to say about the challenge that I faced in the bank. Dealing with, so I was also dealing with shareholders because I was also a share registrar.
Okay.
So shareholders are people who have to come to the bank sometimes and you have to deal with them. I love relationship management and I love talking to people.
Yes.
But shareholders would come and they would come and their dividends have not been paid. Their checks were sent, they got lost or they were sent back. So my job now was to ensure that I was the relationship manager for the shareholders. So sometimes it was a lot of work. So that was number one.
Because as a bank also there is volume of shareholders.
Yes, because I mean the company is listed in the Securities Exchange. So you can imagine. And then number two, I also became the relationship person between our department and other departments. Because when you are setting up a board meeting, as a company secretary department, you're the one who receives all the paperwork, all the board papers.
So that you can summarize it for the board.
Yes, and then circulate it to the board.
Yes.
So all these departments within the bank, they have to send that. So you have to have a relationship with them to tell them, hey, can you send these things,
And sometimes even return them and say, send in this format, make it look like this.
But then also sometimes there were very tight deadlines. And sometimes we used to work long hours because we used to call it board season. Board season was very, very tight. And you remember I told you my boss was very meticulous. So you do not just give her shoddy work. So you had to take time and go and review your work, ensure that it is good. So sometimes you used to leave the bank late. But so those were the small challenges here and there. But the biggest challenge, and maybe this is where I also started my financial literacy journey.
Okay.
The biggest challenge was, number one, I felt like the need to keep up with the Joneses. I felt the need to
say that again.
become more affluent.
Keep up with the Joneses.
Yes, keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
I felt the need to. Now let me tell you. You see, in the bank, salaries are paid on the 24th.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And then at the bank, bonus comes in March.
Not December, not any other month. March.
It comes in March. When you go to the parking lot in March, April, you find new cars, big cars.
You're like, come on, have I not been? And everyone gets a bonus.
Everybody gets a bonus, but the size of the bonus matters. Because
also you're not in sales.
Yes, you're not in sales.
You're not expecting.
But we used to get bonus.
Okay.
And but there are very good bonuses people get. So when you see, so and so has bought this big machine, so and so has bought this big, so I also want to buy a big machine.
Feeling out of place.
So my financial literacy journey began there. Because I also realized people who work in banks are maybe among the worst money managers. It's very ironic.
Is it because there's that, you're touching money, you can get a loan,
yes,
there's this.
Because
you're not that careful.
Remember I mentioned the bank I worked for is a highly reputed bank. It's an excellent employer. So people are paid well. It's a comfortable place. And I enjoyed my time there.
Yeah.
Something I didn't mention, there used to be a restaurant, a bar.
In the bank?
Within the premises. So not every day open.
Okay.
It used to be open on Fridays. Of course, after a long week.
You need to hit 1 for the road or 3 for the night.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we didn't used to pay cash. We used to sign vouchers.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. So what happens when people sign vouchers? At the end of the month, these vouchers
will be deducted.
Are taken to HR. So that as you are being paid, the first thing that is deducted is so you remember.
Expenses.
So if you have been signing And you see, sometimes when you are having a good time,
it's like digital money.
Yes.
You don't feel the spend.
So you're just signing.
Like a chief.
Now, sometimes you would find people the following morning or on payday. They have been told, all your things that you signed are attached to
your payslip.
So that it's sent to the HR department. And
people used to have arrears.
Yes, some people would be paid, but now everything has gone to checks. Those checks. You find people asking,
because maybe like 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago.
Am I the one who signed this? But you have been entertaining your guests, your friends. So the biggest lesson I took away, and I became a victim of, fear of missing out and wanting to live.
To be the guy.
Of course, now you have to live a good life.
Yeah.
You have to move from where you are living. You want to upgrade.
Yeah. And I know that it's all suits.
Yes. Suits, crisp. You have to look good.
And people will be like, which brand is this?
Yes.
They always tell the price.
Yes.
They're asking more questions.
So the challenge, and I think this is an important thing for us to delve into. I'm very passionate today about financial literacy.
Yeah.
Because I realized financial literacy is not as common as people may think. And what I'm mentioning, for example, at the bank, you have access to facilities.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
So you can be given a car loan. You can be given a mortgage. You can be given a shamba loan. You can be given a cash advance. You can be given an education loan. So it's open.
But that means also it ties you for several years.
Most likely, yes.
Yeah.
So if you're not careful, and if you're not guided properly, you are likely to overspend. And this is what happens. Because now I lived it, I know. And now I can say, because I'm helping other people come out of those holes.
Yeah.
So what happens is that you are paid. But when you are paid, remember last month, you had taken a cash advance. All right? Because it's available.
Yeah.
And you had also taken, now they are loan apps, left, right, and center. Maybe you had a small loan app that you had taken something.
Yeah, you had Tala branch and the rest.
So you get your salary, it comes in. What the bank does, the first thing, is that it first of all, at source, it deducts.
Yes.
So if you had taken a lot more and already used it, remember your bills are at this much. So you have to pay your bills. Your bills are constant, but now you have introduced something new.
Yes.
You have to pay the money that the cash advance you had taken last month.
Yes.
So to fill that hole, you have to either take that cash advance again.
Yes.
So
which becomes a habit.
Yes. So you take that cash advance so that you can pay rent.
Yes.
So that you can fuel your car. So that you can go out.
Yes.
In the process of going out, you realize I don't have enough money, but there is a loan app.
Yes. Which is accessible.
Accessible.
Yes.
You get more. So you are sticking deeper into that. So the next month, so you'll pay the cash advance. You'll pay this loan shark. So you are in debt. So you'll take them again. You'll take the cash advance. You'll take and then the bank tells you, you can access credit cards. You get into a credit card. You get a credit card.
Yes.
If you don't know, your work is
swipe.
You swipe. Now it
and it has to be paid.
It has to be paid.
Yes.
So if you're not disciplined, that if you have to use a credit card and you went and swiped for everybody, you have to pay. You have to be disciplined and pay for it monthly in full. But how many people are able to do that?
It's very hard, man.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
So what happens? Remember, you have your cash advance. You have your loan shark. Maybe 2 loan sharks. And then you have now your credit card. What happened now? When your salary comes, because you've been using your credit card, when your salary hits, it deducts the cash advance and the minimum payment for your credit card.
Yeah.
So you are behind with your
bills.
You're
always in debt.
So that's how you start getting into that
cycle.
You get into that cycle of debt.
Yeah.
But then the bank reminds you, we can top up. because you had taken last time and you have been paying, we can top up.
And you forget it will come with an extra interest.
Yes, you forget. Top up.
Very fast.
Very fast. So one of the biggest lessons I took from the bank is that you need to take a hold of your finances.
Yes.
You need to ensure that you live within your means, if not below. You live a life that is not you don't have to keep up with anybody. One of the men who I told you I published my titles, Teenage Dreams. One of the men that helped me do my editing of my book was called Joel Makomi. He's a renowned author. He's now deceased. And Joel Makomi told me something. He told me, jishinde, ushinde.
I think that's a motto of one of the...
I don't know if it's Mangu, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Jishinde, ushinde.
Yeah.
And he told me, you're not competing with anybody in this life. Compete with yourself.
Yes.
So you set your goals and compete with your goals. So that at the end of the day, if
you're only competing with yourself.
Yes, you're competing with yourself.
Yes. Actually, it's a motto for Mangu High School.
Yes, Mangu High School. So you see, I'm not competing with you. I'm competing
I'm
with
my own competitor.
Yes. So I'm competing with the man in the mirror. Right?
That means you'll see your own growth over time. Yeah.
So what you do and what I have learned now over time, and as a result of what I observed at the bank, it's very important to be able to live within a budget.
Yeah.
And people think when you say live within a budget, is now you strain yourself. You don't have money to go and eat KFC. You cannot go and have a drink. That's not what budgeting means. When you're told that you need to live within a budget, is to make sure you know when my money comes in today, where does it go? What am I going to be able to do?
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And again, my grandmother tells me that in 1962,
yes,
she was taken to Kangaroo School.
Yeah.
Because my grandfather was a chief. So all the wives of chiefs were taken to Kangaroo School in 1962 to go and learn a savings plan. In Kikuyu, she tells me that she was taken to Kangaroo to learn about Modhido. Modhido is savings.
Yeah.
All right? So now, and she tells me...
This is in Embu Kangaroo School for those who...
So she tells me, that is 1962.
Yeah.
And she tells me that if you don't tell your money where your money is supposed to go, it is going to go where it's going to tell itself. So you have to tell your money where your money is going to go. And how do you tell your money where it's going to go? You tell your money where it's going to go by having a budget. And I remind you that creating a budget does not mean unajinyima.
True.
All right?
Yeah.
It's just knowing that this is where my money is going to go. And then when I started listening to a few people that talk about financial literacy, I learned that you pay yourself first. All right? Because what has happened is that when we get our salaries, we are always paying other people.
Someone else, yeah.
You're paying your rent,
bills.
You're paying your bills, you're fueling your car, you're paying your school fees, you are paying other people. So when do you pay yourself? Because if you don't pay yourself, you need to pay yourself first. So in the plan of coming up with a budget is to know, okay, I'll pay myself first. And when you pay yourself first, what does that mean? It means you're putting aside money to go towards savings. But then remember, you cannot get rich by just saving money. Because you've just been saving money, you get rich.
Yes.
So you're saving money so that you can have enough to accumulate for investment. All right? And I learned something else. You don't just save money in your bank account. You put in your money in a higher yielding account where you're able to get money you're able to get a return that is higher than inflation. All right? That is how I came to learn about money market funds. Okay? Money market funds are vehicles where you park your money. So you've been saving your money. You've been paying yourself first.
Yeah.
So you've been saving your money.
Yes.
And this money that you have been saving,
yes,
you're not putting it in a savings account where it's going to give you interest that is lower than inflation.
Yes.
you're putting it in a higher yielding account.
Yes.
And a money market fund basically helps you grow your money.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So when you get, when you pay yourself and put that money there, then now, as every month, you earn from what is called compounding.
Yes.
And compounding is interest upon interest.
Yes.
So if you saved 100 shillings and you've gotten an interest of 10 shillings, the next month, your interest is
plus 10 shillings.
Yeah, so your principal is going to be 110. All right? So it keeps compounding.
So that's money market.
Money market.
Yes.
And when you talk of compounding, you benefit from compounding better when you start younger. All right? Because if you go and look at a compounding calculator on the internet and say you save 100, maybe 1,000 bob every month, if you say you've saved consistently 1,000 bob every month, at the end of 10, 15, 20 years, you'll have made much, much more out of compounding. So, in fact, compounding is said to be a wonder of the world because it's
what makes the banks the money.
Yes. So it's the aspect of compounding.
Yeah.
And then when you've put your money in that money market fund, then now you've already started piling something. You're able to put it in bonds. You're able to put it in land. You're able to put it in wherever. So back to where I was saying, budgeting. So as you budget.
Yeah. Which means planning.
Yes, you're planning. So you're paying yourself first. Always.
Always. Pay yourself first.
And then you pay the other people.
Yes.
But then it's also important to know that as you pay yourself first, you need to have something called an emergency fund. Because
all these you learned from this bank experience.
Yes, so from the bank experience, I learned how financially illiterate I was. And after I left the bank, I was now able to want to put my life in order.
This time you have not married.
Not yet.
Still figuring out, where do we go from here?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm now learning money matters, and this has been a journey. Even today, I continue to learn.
Yeah.
And once you've paid yourself first, you need to have an emergency fund. What is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is basically a fund.
Yeah.
That you put aside money.
Yeah.
Not money to eat mandazi.
Yes.
It is money for a rainy day.
Yes.
Because sometimes it rains.
Yes.
It's not the money that you're going to be getting every day.
Yes.
And a money market fund, again, can help you pack money into an emergency fund. And an emergency fund, experts have said, at least have anything between 3 to 12 months of either your living expenses or your salary.
Yes.
So that the day there's a rainy day,
you'll be good.
You're not going to your credit card.
Yeah.
You're not going to go to your friend to borrow.
You borrow from yourself.
You borrow from yourself. You go and take the money and put it and do whatever you needed to do. Something comes on a rainy day, So before you do anything, remember that.
Yes.
Number 3, debt. Ensure that you keep out of debt, unnecessary debt, as much as possible.
Yes.
Because debt can kill you. It can kill you. Debt is just something that, especially when you've taken debt for consumption. And that's what I saw in the bank. A lot of people took debt for consumption. There's something called personal loans. You take a loan, like now, you want to go and furnish your house, buy a nice couch, buy a nice TV, buy a nice fridge. When people come there, wanasema huyu ndio Otero. Huyu ndio anaelewa maneno.
This is the chief.
But they don't know. You're doing all these things.
Yes.
You are suffering because you took a personal loan.
Yes.
You bought things.
So you actually bought at a higher price.
Yes.
Because you are paying maybe double or 1.5.
You're paying, and you see, interest rates today, I was listening to the radio the other day, it is up to 20%, 20.4%.
Yeah.
The interest rates for a personal loan.
Yes.
So if you took that money, so someone who took that money and went and started a business and it starts paying itself, and someone who took that money to eat mandazi and buy a big TV, you're not the same. You're not the same, and you'll never be at the same pedestal.
Yes.
So I learned about debt. There's good and bad debt, and I remember we even had a podcast, a session.
Yes.
With
a town hall.
A town hall.
Yeah.
And when debt is not used properly, it can muzzle you. But when you take debt for the right reason, then debt can help you multiply your wealth and get into wealth.
Yes.
But when you take it for consumption, it's going to kill you.
Yes.
The other thing I learned, again on financials, is that we are not going to be young forever.
True.
We have to save for retirement. And people think that they will never die or they will never retire. If there's
but you get there quicker than you think.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
If the people who are miserable is the retirees.
So actually it's better even to work backwards.
Yes.
Say if I retire at this age, now I'll start saving backwards.
Yes.
So if I have 20 years to go, I want to save for 20 years, maybe in 5 years.
Yes.
Then double that.
Yes.
And you see now, if you combine that with investment, you are better off.
Yes. You remember one of the people that I listen to on investment, on retirement, is Dr. Odundo. Dr. Odundo used to be the CEO of Retirement Benefits Authority, I think. And by the time he retired, he's online and he talks a lot on retirement.
Yeah.
And he says that retirement can be painful. And the things that you need to be prepared in retirement, are the pension is not the most important thing.
Yes.
He says that a medical cover is the most important thing in retirement. Because when you're now older in retirement, this is the time when you have lifestyle diseases coming in. And remember, you were employed for all those years and you had a medical cover that used to go and you and your family
sort of
and,
these things.
and sort of. But now when you leave employment, you also leave your employer's medical cover. So you see, if an ailment comes,
you're on your own.
You're on your own. So you need to save for a medical cover when you're going on retirement. So when you look at a lot of retirees, they're very miserable.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
Number two, the other thing he says that you need in retirement is cash flow. You need to have cash flow. You've heard me talk about investment.
Yeah.
You cannot put all your money in land.
Yeah.
Because do you know how to liquidate land today? You can have 100 million worth of land, but you die because you don't have the actual cash to pay for your bills. So medical cover, and then you need to have cash flow.
Yes.
It helps you.
Yes.
On a day-to-day.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
Number three, have something you enjoy doing.
Yes.
That you wake up
will keep you active.
That keeps you active, that you enjoy. All right? That you may enjoy farming, you may enjoy doing this. A lot of people who go to retirement, they start farming by default, not because they enjoy it.
To pass time.
To pass time. Number four, he says, have a very good relationship with your family. Right now, when you have a young family, as they grow old, you grow old with them, grow old with them. If it's your wife, your husband, grow old with them and involve them. Because when you retire, it's just going to be you and them. If you're a big man, you may remember Professor Bitang Ndemo saying one time when he left from being a PS.
Yes, he actually did the recording here.
Yes.
I don't know where that recording went to. When he visited us.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
I think he's not an ambassador?
Yes. I don't know. I'm not so sure. But he was an ambassador
Professor
in Belgium or
something.
something.
Said that his phone stopped ringing.
Yes. I remember that conversation.
And he would wonder, do I have charge? Okay?
Yeah. It's because the work people is just work.
It's just work.
Don't get it twisted.
So the people who call you in retirement is your wife asking, have you taken your medicine? Is your children calling you from abroad? Daddy, mommy, how are you doing? Is people close to you? Right?
Yes.
So have a very good relationship with them.
Yes.
So that is the final thing on planning for retirement.
Yes.
And how do you plan for retirement? Is by starting early.
I can see our chief there as a notebook. He's taking notes. I'm sure everyone else listening, actually, you're sharing some good nuggets.
Thank you.
And at your age, actually, that's quite brilliant to have learned that in a bank setting and even beyond.
Yeah.
Because these are conversations actually we have even on the side on and the T actually is one place that tries to bring different people to talk about different topics that contributes into people's welfare beyond work. So Chief, I think we are past the hour, and there is something very important I want us to cover. But what you have shared actually is even really, really good. I don't know your bandwidth in this, or should you try and let's take a break and then come back.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Quick pause, folks. We're stepping into a brief interlude, but stay tuned, because after the break, we dive deeper into the incredible journey of our guest. Meanwhile, we'd like to send a massive shout out to our sponsors for empowering this exchange of ideas and innovation. We'll be right back on Impact Masters. Subscribe, follow, and share. Check us out at www.impactmasters.io. See you after the break. Quick pause, folks. We're stepping into a brief interlude, but stay tuned, because after the break, we dive deeper into the incredible journey of our guest. Meanwhile, we'd like to send a massive shout out to our sponsors for empowering this exchange of ideas and innovation. We'll be right back on Impact Masters. Subscribe, follow, and share. Check us out at www.impactmasters.io. See you after the break. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Impact Masters. Thank you for tuning in and sharing this space of growth and empowerment with us. Remember, every step you take has the potential to create an impact. Keep exploring, keep questioning, keep implementing, and most importantly, keep mastering your impact. Remember to check us out on all platforms by searching for Impact Masters. Subscribe, follow, and share. www.impactmasters.io. See you in the next one.